Previously, our story began as 4 adventurers arrived for the first time in the vibrant port city of Elandor. Their paths crossed at the bustling Flame and Flagon Tavern, where they shared a meal and drinks. As they settled in, they were approached by a sturdy elven figure, Captain Taran Greaves, who invited them to visit the Tide chapter in the morning, promising opportunities to earn coin through work in the city. After their meal, they decided to stay at the inn, securing a visit to the Celestial Springs bathhouse, where they enjoyed a well-earned respite from their long travels. Later that night, Rhukkarrak ventured off alone, meeting up with the enigmatic Veiled Alchemist to discuss a secret task awaiting him. The following morning, the group reconvened over breakfast before heading to the Tide chapter as planned, where Captain Taran greeted them and outlined various opportunities to support Elandor, whether through hunting dangerous creatures like pyroscales and leviathans, or investigating the motives of Khazdurim traders who have arrived just outside the city. However, before they could commit to a task, a scout burst in with urgent news. The Zorix, elemental-infused creatures, had breached the city and were wreaking havoc. Without hesitation, the party joined Captain Taran and charged into the fray, preparing to fight the monstrous threat head-on. What new dangers lie ahead? Will our adventurers emerge unscathed from the Vizorix assault, or are greater perils lurking in Elandor's shadows? Are the Khazdurim here as mere traders, or does their arrival signal something far more sinister? And what hidden secrets does the city of Elandor hold for those brave enough to seek them? Adventure, mystery, and danger await. Don't miss a moment in tonight's chapter of Inspired Initiative. As you all dash forward, following the quick strides of Captain Taran, you watch sight of the canal before you, a churning, frothing torrent. Taran shouts over the roar of the water. "Tidefins!" she exclaims, a hint of frustration in her tone. "Large buggers that shouldn't be able to get out of the water, but they can blast from a distance. Let's go." With that, she charges into the fray, drawing her weapon. Nearby citizens scatter in a panic, darting for cover while a few other Dawnward Sentinels fall in beside you, ready to assist. Let's have everyone roll initiative, shall we?
Woo!
Oh, man.
That's what I wanted to hear.
First combat.
Let's go. Okay.
Well, I got a 10.
Will I ever roll above a 10?
Alrighty.
Natural 20, let's go!
Oh my god! Natural 20, look at that.
10 for Euan as well.
Alright, I'll ask for your
Rhukkarrak goes
in a
first.
second. We're gonna have the other Dawnward Sentinels here on their own initiative. And then Captain Taran as well. Not rolling anything fantastic, that's for sure. Alright. Asja, what did you roll?
22.
22 with a natural 20, very nice. Maldorwen?
11.
11, okay.
Yes.
Yuan?
10.
10. And then Rhukkarrak?
Also 10.
10, perfect. Alrighty. So, let me just describe the scene a little bit here, so you know what you're dealing with. You all are voyaging up this way here, right in the footfalls of Captain Taryn Griefs. Before you see a couple different churnings of water, signifying these larger creatures beneath that are kind of ripping up and tearing through some of the goods. And you can see like different caught fish and whatnot being thrown into the water as they snatch up and eat them. You see several civilians trying to flee in panic, some of which are a little bit in the fray, if you will. The one thing that catches your glance a little bit off in the distance is there is a ferryman all the way up here who is looking to very quickly try to turn their boat around. But that movement alone has caught the attention of some of these creatures as well. But you all are all the way down here to start. Asja, it is your turn to begin. What would you like to do?
Alright. I would like to move forward just to... Okay, do you see the little alleyway here?
Yep.
Right, just kind of tuck herself at the corner of the alleyway so that she's still got a clear view of everything.
Okay, I'll right out there.
Yep, right there. Perfect.
Perfect.
And then I am going to... at that point, Asja's just kind of push herself against the wall, and she is going to place both hands on her crystal and her necklace, and she's very just going to quietly start to chant, and suddenly a glow, like her skin, which already seems to glow with vitality and life, seems to glow almost even more, and using fiendish vigor, but not so fiendish, I'm doing false life on myself. Giving myself 8 temporary hit points.
Okay. As you kind of take some cover and get a brief moment of temporary HP there. Anything else for your turn?
She's just gonna hold her staff, and that's it. No wall action or anything. So, yep, I'm done.
Okay. Maldorwen, it is your turn. I also forgot to roll for the creatures. Let me do that real quick.
Oh, it's actually their turn then.
It is their turn then, yeah, actually. All right. So, most of them are just kind of tearing into what's already here. They're kind of moving around. One all the way up here is going to start to beeline for this merchant all the way, or this ferryman all the way up here. Can't quite attack him, but he's going to like quickly dart up there. But the rest of them are just causing more chaos and destruction to the actual different boats and market stalls here. All right, Maldorwen, it is now your turn.
All right, so how far am I from the boxes right in front of me?
The box is right in front of you. That is a total of 25 feet away.
Okay, so it's like 20 feet towards the corner, right? Something like that?
Yep. If you want to go right before that box, that'll be 20 feet.
Yeah, that's what I want to do.
Yep.
Kinda running in between Euan's tail and legs. And I will look ahead. So I'm guessing I can see the fish that's like right up there.
Yeah, you can kind of see the water churning there.
Okay, perfect. So right at the spot where the water is churning, I will kind of look up at the sky, at Alamor, and steal some of its brightness and have the fury of the conflict itself descend upon this creature as I cast Sacred Flame.
Very nice. So it needs to make a saving throw.
Yes, Constitution saving... Oh, Dexterity saving throw. DC
Dex
14.
Saving throw. Okay.
Yes.
There goes. That is not going to do it. That is a failure.
Nice. Perfect. Yeah, so I'm going to roll the 4 damage. It's going to be 1d8. Ooh, okay. 2 points for radiant damage.
2 points of radiant damage. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So as
and then...
it is ripping apart some of these boats and aquatic vessels, it feels this kind of light kind of bathe over it. And it doesn't mind it too much attention. 2 points of damage isn't much, so it doesn't look like you quite caught its attention. Anything else?
Okay. Seeing as its perhaps distracted on keeping on trashing the market, I'm just gonna hide behind the box. Like dropping to a knee, kind of putting myself on a prone condition.
Okay.
And that's my turn.
As you drop prone here, you can get some cover from them. Very nice. Okay. Yuan, you are up next.
Euan is going to move forward 30 feet. I'd assume it'd be like right between the single box at the front and the stack of boxes that Maldorwen's hiding behind.
Yep, you can do that.
Right. How far from me is the creature that's the closest one there by the boats?
Appears to be right around 30 feet.
Perfect. So, looking around, realizing he can't get over to the creature, he's going to flex his hand and a ball of flame is going to appear in his hand. He's going to lock eyes on the creature and lob that ball of flame at it with a produce flame cantrip.
Okay. Go ahead and roll that attack roll.
It's a 25 to hit.
25 definitely does hit. Go ahead and roll damage, but before you do that, I want you to open your character sheet and look at your inventory and read for me Marley's hot sauce.
Inventory Marley's hot sauce. Let me find it. It's in my backpack, right?
Yep.
Each bottle of Marley's hot sauce contains 3 uses. When added to food, the fiery concoction stokes an inner flame, granting enhanced firepower to those daring enough to consume it. For the next 8 hours after eating a meal seasoned with the infernal sauce, whenever you roll damage for an attack, spell, or ability that deals fire damage, you may add an additional 1d4 fire damage. Marley's hot sauce is intensely spicy and not for the faint-hearted. Any creature who consumes it without natural affinity for fire must succeed a DC 10 Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 1d4 fire damage and gains no benefit from the sauce.
Very nice. So as you produce this flame in your hand, it's a little larger than you were expecting, kind of feeling that inner heat still lingering from your breakfast with the sauce on your eggs. So you toss it towards the creature, go ahead and roll damage.
Right, so it was 8 fire damage from the produced flame, and then another 3 from the extra sauce on the flame.
Perfect, so total 11?
A total of 11.
Okay. As the fire hits the water and the creature kind of in it, it kind of steams up quite a bit there, as the creature then kind of roils even more and starts to look back towards you. You definitely seem to have now caught its attention.
Good, right where I want you.
All right, with that, anything else for you?
No, that's my turn.
Awesome. And I don't believe we can see your dice, by the way. So if you want to...
I fixed it. I fixed it.
Awesome. Perfect. Okay. With that then, Rhukkarrak, it is your turn.
Okay. Rhukkarrak is going... Why can't things just be on land like they're supposed to be? And he's going to run up as far as he can.
Right
also
there would be 30
using
feet.
a dash.
Also using a dash. Okay,
Yeah.
so you can get all the way right there if you wanted to.
Yeah. There's a crate right there.
A crate right where? Right here?
Just on the dock side there.
Yeah, there's just some bit of debris.
Okay. Yeah, he already put on shadow armor before they left. And that's his turn. What's up?
Alrighty. Okay.
Oh, he's also going to pull out his dagger and short sword.
Yep. The captain is going to also move up the dash. Trying to get a little bit further up here. Is going to kind of just run up there and kind of look back to you all and kind of give an appreciative head nod as she does so. With that will be her turn. Then a couple guards here. Other individuals that have followed in your footsteps or just in the area are also going to contribute here. Some of them pull out bows and start to shoot. We're going to do a couple rolls for them here. And do 3 different shots. 2 of those are gonna miss, and 1 of those is gonna hit. So we'll say this one up here gets dealt. Not much damage. As the arrow kind of gets battered away by the water a little bit, causing a little bit of bloodshed to happen there. Alright, that's the other guard's turn, as they kind of position a little bit more around. We'll say this one goes out there. Alright. Then at the top of the round, it is now like the environment's turn, more or less, which is going to be the commoners and, more importantly, the ferrymen up here. Most of the commoners are just going to try to flee as they just get further and further away from the actual fight here. Most of them just kind of running around. One right next to you, Asja, there, that just says, "Ah!" as he runs. And they get further and further out. There's one other right here. They get out of danger.
But was it in Elven or in
Definitely Elven.
So she understood. Okay, good.
I think this one's gonna, he's gonna jump ship. Right as that creature's gonna try to... So he's jumping and he's gonna try to swim up towards the side there, where there's a little bit of a easier pathway for him to get out here. The boat itself is going to continue to kind of turn and go forward right as the Tidefin right there is kind of looking to gnaw into it, seeing the movement as something to eat. And that is the environments round. So we're back up to you, Asja.
All right. Okay, this ramp. I'm assuming this is a ramp, or is this stairs?
This right here?
Up above. Yeah, that up right there.
Yeah,
Sorry.
It is a ramp. Yep.
Okay, how far? I can't quite see the squares, so I couldn't count it out.
Yep.
Sorry. How far is it to, like, say, mid-ramp?
So mid-ramp, it's about 40 feet.
Okay,
You
how
can
far
get
would
right
30 feet get me?
before the ramp with 30 feet.
You know, she's going to stick closer to the wall of the building and let all of these lovely meat shields be in the front, but she's going to go to the corner of... Do you see where the second layer of the ramp or the balcony is? But there's the corner before... Yeah, she's going to go right about... Yeah, right there.
Right there? Okay.
Yep, that looks good. And then... That gives me lots of space. She is going to cast Eldritch Blast at the one next to the ship with the octopus on it.
Alrighty. Go ahead and roll to attack.
Okay.
That is definitely going to hit.
24? Okay. For 2 points of damage, but still damage.
2 points of damage. Okay.
2.
As the
And
impact
that's-
kind of is lessened from the water that surrounds the creature itself, as it hasn't quite broached the surface. It impacted it, but not a crazy amount. Alrighty then. It is now the Tidefins' turn. As this one is definitely aggravated, taking a decent amount of hits from you all here. It is going to kind of do some shifting movements as it kind of breaches the surface of the water for a moment, and you can see the waves itself are almost like pulled up into it as it then jettisons that water out towards Euan there. It is going to roll one of these. That is going to be a dirty 20 to hit, so I do believe that hits. Go ahead and make a strength saving throw for me. Oh,
There it is.
okay. So
It's
you
25 on the
manage.
saving throw.
You manage to stay on your feet as this high-pressured water just gets blasted towards you. You take a total of five bludgeoning damage as it just batters into you, but you manage to grit your feet down on the ground and don't fall prone. But yeah, you're pretty wet. It is then going to move closer, as it kind of did that with a almost a dolphin jump to a degree, closer to the edge here. There we go. It also, these creatures being a little bit in sync, the other ones are going to then start to come over as well. That top one is still very distracted, however. And this one is going to notice the harm here. I'm going to also do a jettison towards this guard that shot the arrow there. See, yeah, that's going to hit that guy. So we're going to see if they can make a strength save. Nope. All right. So they're knocked prone as the water just blasts them. It's going to deal a bit of damage to them. Another 5 points. Max damage on that too, as they just get like knocked back into the wall almost. I'm going to say it even pushes them back there. And yeah, they're just kind of almost knocked unconscious, really dazed. Not quite so, but close. With that, and this one's just going to continue to get closer to the actual wall here, seeing more movement and being able to sense that now as things have been entering the water from outside. All right, that is... Oh, actually, there's still this Tidefin all the way up here, who is going to, well, come up here and try to eat this guy. We're going to see... That is definitely going to hit, unfortunately, on this poor ferryman up here. So that is going to do damage. That is, yeah, 16 points of damage, as you all are kind of distracted in the moment and don't quite see what happens up there. But it's not good. Not good at all. All right, with that, that is the Tidefin's turn. Maldorwen, it is now your turn.
All right, so can I, from where I am, I jump on the roof of the boat that's to my left?
You could. It is a 15 or a 10-foot gap there. It would be a pretty decent difficulty to do so, but you
What if I
could
use
try.
Gust?
If you use Gust as an action, it's an action, right? Or is it a bonus action?
Yes.
If you use Gust, I will give you advantage on the roll.
Okay, I want to try to jump on the boat.
Right. Are you going to just do a standing jump, or do you want to back up and use all your movement then to try to make this jump?
Yeah, I'm gonna back up. I'm gonna take some.
Okay. So as you kind of look at the boat that's slowly starting to drift, you see the space in between. You kind of back up for a moment, and then running forward, you cast Gust down on the ground, giving yourself that boost. Go ahead and roll acrobatics or athletics check for me as you kind of try to make this gap here. Oh, yeah, you do so.
About time you rolled something good, Maldorwen.
I didn't want to get wet again.
Exactly. Land on the wooden frames of the boat here. You were there. And that is your movement for
Nice. So I want to, from there, cast, again, Sacred Flame at the creature that we have been attacking for the most part, which is the one that's next to Euan, I believe.
Yep. That's the one that looks a bit damaged currently.
A bit damage. Holy crap.
A bit damaged, yep. It's hard to see with all the water moving around and whatnot. But yeah.
Okay,
oh, it
so
needs to make a
has
dex save,
roll
that's
a
right.
dexterity.
I was waiting for you to roll, and I was like, what's going on? All right. That, I believe, is a fail. That is a fail.
Okay, so let me roll for damage. Nice, 7 points of
Nice,
radiant.
7 points of radiant damage, okay. As this time the light
And I
really
do
kind
believe...
of shines into it.
Sorry,
go ahead. It looks hurt.
Okay, sorry.
It's hurt.
I do believe that going prone is free. Like, it doesn't cost any movement.
Oh, you went prone at the start of your last turn, too. Okay, I'll
Yeah,
allow
but I only
that.
run, like, for 15 feet.
That's true, and then maybe
So
okay.
should...
Yeah, you can get prone right there. That works.
Yes, so, okay, that was action surge, and yeah, prone, and that's my turn.
Alright, let me make sure to actually mark you as prone so I remember next time. Where... I don't know where it is. Alright, that's okay. Euan, it is your turn.
So, is there like a lip down to the water's edge from where we are, or are we sort of flush with the water there in the canal?
So there is about a 5-foot lip before the actual water itself on the cobblestones that you are on currently. The planks up here are more so like on the water itself, but there's a little bit of a lip there.
All right. I'm trying to think with a breath weapon if there's a way I can get both of the creatures in there, but if not, that's fine. It'd be probably the cone. It's a 15-foot cone.
Let's see cone, move there, 15 foot. Yeah, I'll allow it if you kind of back up 5 feet and then do so.
Right. So I'll say I'll sort of back up there 5 feet, and there will be smoke that starts billowing out from my nostrils as I prepare for the breath weapon. And before I use my breath weapon, I will use my bonus action to rage. That smoke sort of billows forward, and from the bracelet on his wrist, vines start crawling out and around his arm and sort of encase his body in armor that looks like bark. And in between the cracks of the bark and everything, the heat and everything that he's generating sort of flashes and almost makes him look like a burning tree as he's sitting there, and he inhales and he will unleash a gout of flame across both of the creatures.
Very nice. Go ahead and roll damage for that. As I rolled there, it's dex save. The one top there fails.
That's 7 and an additional d4 damage.
And the one on bottom also fails.
That's a total of 11 points of fire damage across both of them.
Very nice. Okay. As they are
and my armor class is now reasonable.
As more steam just billows into the air as the hot flames are exuded from your maw and just start to scorch these creatures. They definitely did not like that. Okay. Anything else for you?
No, that's going to be my turn. That's the action and bonus action, so...
Alrighty. Up next then is Rhukkarrak.
Okay. Rhukkarrak is going to jump down that 5-foot ledge.
Yep.
Getting
Like
onto
that?
the dock right there, so we can take a stab at this thing coming up to him.
Okay.
He's going to first swing with his short sword. That's a 23 to hit.
That is definitely going to hit.
Okay.
I will say for that you do have sneak attack because there is a ally within 5 feet of this guy too.
Oh. Okay. Sneak attack is another 1d6. For a grand total of 9 piercing damage.
9 piercing damage. Very nice. Okay.
And then he'll use the finesse property to attack with the dagger in his other hand.
Do a little nick.
That's a 6.
Unfortunately going to miss. As you go and stab it with your sword, finding a nice, juicy little spot there, as it's a bit distracted from this other guard. It then recoils from that and starts to move quite violently, and you don't manage to nick it.
Sorry, I forgot about the Vex on the short sword. Which gives
So you got advantage on that. Okay,
attack.
so go ahead and roll again.
That is a 17.
17 does hit. So you're watching it kind of recoil quite violently in the water just churning crazily, and you just wait for the perfect moment, right as one of the fins kind of flaps towards you, and you just slice it real quick. Dealing 4 points of damage.
4 points of damage.
Very nice. As some other blood kind of sprays out from that. The kind of waters here looking a little tinted with their blood. All right, Rhukkarrak, anything else for you?
Nope.
Alrighty. Captain Terran is up next, as they are going to rush up here and hop on over to this little platform here, and then kind of get up in the face of this Tidefin, take out their sword. Actually, their sword was already drawn. And just try to carve into it. I'm gonna go boop. $14 will hit. Okay. That is going to be 13 points of damage. So you see as Taran really just slashes a nice gash into this Tidefin, as kind of blood spews out of it. All right. Then I believe that is her turn. She kind of just, excuse me, grits her teeth and just waits for it to attack. All right, the guards. Well, then this one's going to back up a little bit, which will provoke an opportunity attack from this shark here, this Tidefin, as it tries to jump up and bite it right as it moves out of melee there. Ooh, that is definitely gonna hit. That's gonna be that's a lot of damage. So as this guard kind of wide-eyed, probably not the best individual here, or hasn't known a lot of experience in stuff like this, kind of starts to back up in a little bit of fear as it's so close to him. The Tidefin just leaps out of the water and just bites down on their shoulder and just pulls that individual into the water with them. And they just fall unconscious instantly.
Thanks, I hate it.
All right, with that, yeah, this one's gonna kind of run up here, try to shoot an arrow towards the one that the captain is engaged with. That is going to, I know that does hit. Okay, it does hit. Ah. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. There we go. Nice. Couple points of damage there on that one there. And then the other guard, which was this one right over here, is going to just fire towards that one that just is starting to now eat his friend. Does hit. Oh, nice. Isn't putting some damage there. Okay, that is the guard's turn. Top of the round. It is now the encounters initiative here. As we're not going to talk about what's happened up there. The commoners are just continuing to flee and taking more and more shelter. Some of them are rooting Euan though, and like, please save us, or you can do this, and whatnot. As just general chaos is kind of breaking loose here. Okay. That is then... Oops. Asja, it is back up to your turn.
Right. Well, at the end of last game, I did say that I had put Shillelagh on my staff, so she is going to be brave. She is going to run up 15 feet.
Okay.
And anyone that understands Elven, she is saying very loudly in a muttered voice, I do not like fish! I do not like fish! And she smacks the shark on the head, trying to, like, she's gonna try and go for a jaw or something, like the nose or a jaw, to try and get him to open his mouth so that maybe somebody can grab that unconscious guard and get him out.
Okay. That works. Go ahead and roll to hit there.
Yeah, sorry. I needed to open up that. Okay, perfect.
Ooh,
14.
Okay. That
does not hit.
It does.
It does hit. Yay!
Yes. They're
All right.
relatively reckless creatures.
Yeah, it gets to 5 points of damage on its snoot. There we go.
Okay. As you kind of reach down lower and just bonk it right on the head. It doesn't manage to drop. It doesn't have this individual grappled, but their just body's kind of like floating down in the river or the canal. And yeah, they're looking to chow down more on them.
Okay. Do I have enough movement and everything left to maybe try and grab him and... Oh no, I've already had my action. Never mind.
We'll say...
That's it for me.
Because pulling a creature with you is just considered movement. You've used 15 feet of movement already
15.
to get there.
Okay.
We'll say if you want to try to reach down and pull that individual out of the water there, it's going to be a strength check, or athletics check, to see if you can do so in a quick enough time here on your turn.
Okay, well, she doesn't suck at it, so let's try. How about... Both have the same thing, so I'll just roll athletics. A 13.
13 total?
Yes.
Okay, we'll say that's enough to, bring that individual to the surface there.
All right. Perfect.
As you kind of
Thank you.
lean down.
Yeah, now I'm in bad position, but that's okay.
We're going to say with
doing...
that is going to put you prone, though, to do so. Because you kind of have to, reach down into the water itself if you want to do that.
I know, that's fine, but she has to play her character, so, yeah.
All right, so you will be prone then.
Yeah.
And, but that individual is now brought up out of the water. Very nice. All right. And then it is now the Tidefin's turn. This Tidefin here is going to jump up and try to bite out at you, Euan. Whoa. That's not where I want you to go. There we go.
Did it bite you, Starfish?
It did. I tried to move it. It's like, yum. Okay. Oh, that's not one. Okay, that doesn't hit.
No.
You see it coming. Backstep. Doesn't quite hit you there. This one is going to try now to bite towards you, Asja, as you're kind of putting your arms in the water. Bring that guy out. It's going to jump up and bite out. You haven't taken any damage yet, correct, Asja?
No.
Okay. 10, I do not believe hits you.
Does not hit me.
Very nice.
I have dexterous little arms. Nope.
The one up near Captain up there is going to attack Captain. That's definitely going to hit Captain. That is going to be 15 points of damage on the Captain. Okay, as those that are kind of paying attention, it's so chaotic here, you don't quite see it. Captain takes a decent hit there, as they kind of call out in pain. All right, with that is the Tidefins. The top one there is still just enjoying a meal. Maldorwen, it's now your turn.
Okay, seeing as these creatures are really, really tough, kind of tougher than he expected, actually, he will then, kind of using the bolts that the guard shot, conjure up a ghost bolt, almost, made out of pure light from Alamor. So here we go. I'm gonna cast at the creature that we have been attacking the most for a 17 to hit.
Okay, that definitely does hit.
Okay, so it's gonna be... Please, give me good 14 points of radiant damage. Please die.
Alrighty, describe to me how this arrow pierces this creature enough to kill it.
Alright, so I'm gonna stand from my knees and look at Asja and say, Asja, watch out. Back up. They're very dangerous. And then I will... can I jump down?
Yeah, so you can get right down there.
And... yeah, that's my turn. I'm not prone anymore, by the way. I tried to...
Oh, that's
keep on my feet or stay on my feet.
I removed the condition. It's not showing it on that screen, though. Weird. I'll have to look at it later. You're not prone. As the arrow flies true and pierces the beast, it unconsciously deadly kind of bubbles up to the surface of the water there, no longer moving. All right. Yuan, it is your turn.
Euan is going to sort of run up to... that's not what I wanted to do. It's going to run up to within about 10 feet of the Tidefin that's there. And brandish his halberd. That works.
Yeah, right up here.
Yep, that works.
Okay.
It's going to make an attack with his halberd.
Okay, go for it.
It's going to be a 21 to hit.
That does hit.
For a total of 15 points of damage with his halberd.
All right, describe for me how you finish off this creature.
As he sort of smolders his way over there and his eyes lock onto this creature like burning coals, he's going to raise the halberd up over his head, flip it down in his hand, and harpoon the creature in the back of the head. So that way it just ends. And he'll turn to Asja and the unconscious guard. Can you do anything?
As the creature stops moving, as you pull your harpoon, in this case, free from its skull. It is dead. All right. Rhukkarrak, it is your turn.
Okay, well, seeing that this situation seems handled, he's going to kind of glance around and see the captain up there fighting. Can he make it across all those little boats to the other side of the Tidefin?
We'll say you certainly can try. It's going to be a bit of a challenge as the image here isn't perfect. A lot of these are broken up more than they appear. It's going to be an acrobatics check to see if you can nimbly enough jump across the floating debris here to get up over there. And that would take pretty much most of your movement to get up to the boat right over there.
Okay. All right. Acrobatics. Yeah, that's a 25.
Yeah, very nice. So as you kind of start dashing over, you nimbly, as soon as something starts to sink, just jump off of it to another larger piece of debris as you kind of make your way up, over, jump up, and then we'll say you can get right there, which is within 5 feet, roughly, of the creature. You're
Excellent.
in melee.
Okay. Then he's first going to slash at it with his short sword.
Okay. Go ahead and do so. You do have a +2 on this because you are flanking with the captain currently.
Oh, well, I don't need it. I had a 21, but I guess I now have a 23.
That does hit. Go ahead and roll damage.
And that is... including sneak attack, that is 11 points of slashing.
11 points. Very nice. As you carve a
And then
large
you'll-
gash into like its tail fin there.
Use his bonus action to nick it with his, or to hit it with his dagger.
Okay.
Do a second attack there. 14 to hit.
14. You do have the +2 as well, so yeah, that definitely hits.
Oh, right. +2 on everything. And there's 3 points more of slashing.
3 more. Okay. It is definitely looking pretty hurt. Still up and voracious though. Right. That is your bonus action, and your movement. So we move on to the captain's turn. She kind of gives you a nod as you're kind of in flanking position there. As she kind of grips part of the wound that this Tidefin occurred on her. Kind of says Elven curse under her breath before steadying herself and then rearing up with her great sword again to make another strike towards it. Oh no. Ah! I have to move this guy down a bit so I can actually... There we go. That is definitely going to hit the beastie. For a total of... Oh, close. She kind of reaches it up and just pierces the head of the creature as it kind of recoils quite violently and backs up a bit. Doesn't quite look dead, but it is... The waters are very bloodied at this point. It is very, very wounded. And, okay, that is her turn, though. So that is now the guard's turn. We'll see if one of these guards can pick up the kill. Be kind of funny. 20. That's gonna hit. 6. Not enough damage. That's just 1 point of damage. As the arrow that whizzes just barely kind of impacts the creature, kind of being thrown up from the torrent of the water that it is now causing. Oh my god, it's so low. Alright, the other one is going to see those two dead. It's going to take a shot at that one. It is going to have partial cover there from just the angle on that, though. Yeah, that's not going to hit. Alright, that is the guard's turn. The civilians continue to flee in fear. And we move back to the top of the round. Asja, it is now your turn.
Alright, as Euan growls at her, wondering, can you do anything? She just kind of gives him side eye and goes, I fixed you, didn't I? And she is going to pull out her healer's kit and begin to tear open like the material around the wound. And she will begin to clean it out as she normally does, but I'm going to use Battle Medic, which means that the guard can give me one of his hit dice. I will roll it, and then I add 2, and he will gain that back. So
okay,
he can roll his hit dice and add 2, or I can roll the hit dice and add 2.
Hit dice for the guard. Let's just do a d8. So go ahead and roll a d8.
Okay. No problem. Alright, he's getting 4 hit points back. Yeah.
Very nice. As the bleeding was quite profusely from the wound there, as he kind of quickly stitch it up somewhat, using that there, he kind of takes in a large gasp breath, and just starts kind of whining in pain, as his eyes are very wide and a bit of shock there. But
and she'll smile and just kind of pat him on the cheek and say, you did good, now stay still. And she's, yeah, that's her action. No, she's still got movement. She's going to spring up and straight along the edge of this, the thing. She's just going to go, I can't see. She's going to just go, I guess, 30. Whatever gets me in view of, like, in line with, like, the captain and everything like that. Because I can't see that far up the screen. There we go.
Yeah, you can move 15 feet after standing up from being prone.
Yep, that's fine.
Right up there.
That's perfectly fine. She's just gonna... There we go.
Perfect. Alrighty.
Turn.
Then it is now the Tidefins' turn. Those two being dead, this one finishing its meal is now going to finally start moving back down towards the other commotion here. It's going to take a dash, which... Ooh, yeah, they're pretty quick beasties. Yeah, it's gonna... actually, no, it's gonna just move down here. And it's going to send a jettison of water out towards the captain there. Yeah. That is gonna hit, so she's gonna need to make a strength saving throw or fall prone. Ooh, that is a failure on the save. So she does fall prone there and she takes 4 points of damage. Yep. As the water kind of takes her off guard, as she was not predicting this blast of a jet from behind. She kind of falls face first towards, like, right in front of that other Tidefin. The water just lapping up on the debris there, just right in front of her. She just curses under her breath. And that is that Tidefin's turn. This Tidefin is now going to just go in for attack right on her. Being right in front of her. Yeah, it's going to hit. Actually... Yeah, it's going to hit. It's going to be a total of 9 points. Okay. So it kind of rushes up and takes another nice gash out of the captain, kind of scraping across the chitinous, kind of almost crab-like armor that she is currently wearing. But as she winces in some more pain. But she's still breathing currently. That's the Tidefins' turn, however. Maldorwen, it is now your turn.
Okay, so seeing that Asja got up and she's not even bleeding, I'm like, oh, never mind, she got this. And I'm gonna run up towards the tip of the boat, and from there, I'm gonna cast another guiding bolt at the creature attacking the captain there.
Okay. And that is within 50 feet? Should be
Yes.
enough, right? Yeah.
Guiding bolt is 120.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Roll to hit. Yeah.
Nice. Oh my god, yeah. Okay, 24 to hit.
24
and
definitely
damage
hits.
is gonna be 13 points of radiant damage.
Okay. So as this Tidefin just tore a piece out of Captain Terran again, she kind of winces in pain and kind of starts to push herself back up right as that bolt of pure light energy just kind of slices right through the back of the Tidefin's kind of head there, right in front of the captain, blood kind of spurting on her face as it is now dead. It falls in the water, completely dead. All right. Anything else for you, Maldorwen?
No, that's it.
Okay. Euan, it is your turn then.
As Euan is standing there and watching the battle take place, these small green vines and bits of moss sort of trail from him over to Asja, who will gain 5 temporary hit points. And then he will move 30 feet forward.
So real quick, Asja, you still have your temp HP from the...
Yeah, I still have temp. I was about to ask,
Okay.
can they stack?
If she still has the temp HP, then I'll give it to the other guard who is still within 10 feet of me. So
Yeah, give it
That
to
works.
him because she still looks like she's glowing with like the utmost vitality of the world.
I actually forgot that you did that to yourself. So yeah, we'll give it to the guard instead, just to give him a little bit of a boost to get out of here.
Very nice.
Then we'll move 30 feet forward.
Okay.
Something
like that. Do you want to go on the actual planks themselves?
on the
or stay on
actual.
help side?
Actually, no. We'll stay on the ledge there.
Yep.
Right, how far does that put me from the other one?
The other one is still 50 feet away.
Right. So in that case, he'll sort of break off a piece of the bark skin on the front of himself to pull out one of the throwing axes that he has. And even though I'm rolling with disadvantage, I will chuck a hand axe at the other one up there.
Okay,
The long
I like
range
it.
is 60 feet, so
Go ahead and roll for the attack. Asja. Hurl that axe.
nope. That's going to be 8 to hit, unfortunately.
As it kaplooshes in the water just a couple feet ahead of before it.
He'll sort of growl in frustration, and then I'll use my bonus action to keep my rage going.
Okay. In that case, then, that is Euan's turn up. Rhukkarrak, it is back to your turn.
Okay. With everyone cleaning up all the enemies around him, he is going to jump over to the same little raft that the captain is on,
Okay.
kind of going behind her.
We'll say... Go ahead and just make a acrobatics check for me to see if you can leap over there. Not a super high DC, but it is going to be somewhat of a DC to see if you can... Ooh.
Ooh, a 10.
10 is what you needed. Okay. Nice pluses there. So you leap over and kind of land right almost above the captain there as she's still prone, kind of setting up. But you managed to find some solid footing.
As he leaps over and the boat kind of shakes and he kind of like has to steady himself, a little bit. He is going to hold his one action. He's going to take advantage of his dagger's nick expertise to attack with both his dagger and his short sword as soon as the thing comes in within range.
Okay. Kind of holding your
Okay.
action, you steadying there, ready for it to pounce. Alrighty. With that, then it is the captain's turn. He kind of finishes standing up, wipes the blood off her face from the Tidefin there, and kind of steadies herself. You all are quite capable. And moves up forward here. She grabs a javelin from her pack as she kind of grips it quite tightly, aims towards it, throws it right at this Tidefin. Damn these stupid beasts! Ooh, that is definitely going to hit. 8 points of damage, nice. As it kind of pierces into the creature. Alrighty, that is going to be the captain's turn. He's actually going to try to get a little more solid footing here. Run up here. Actually, no, she's just going to back up, actually. So there's not quite the ledge. And then, yeah, that will be her movement. Alright, that is the captain's turn. It is now the guard's turn. This guard's going to move forward a bit. Take another shot. This guard's going to just start to look to rejoin the fight as they kind of rush up and over there. Yeah, it's a 12. That is just going to hit. There's the arrow. It's a creature, doing a bit of damage. Okay. With that, back up to the top of the round. Asja, you were up.
Environmental?
Yeah, commoners.
Or is there
continue
nothing
to
left?
flee.
There's nothing left. Okay. Asja can make it next
this
to the
boat
captain.
Down a bit. There we go. Okay, up to the captain. Yeah,
Next to the captain, yep.
right there.
And she is going to, as soon as she gets to the side of the dock, she's going to kind of close her eyes for a second and center, and the captain will hear her starting to mutter what almost seems like a prayer to some protector. And at that point, her eyes will open, she will start moving her hands, and she's then shoots out a bolt of light energy with that prismatic thing, and I'm casting Guiding Bolt on it.
Very nice. Okay, go ahead and roll the hit.
Oh, God,
no.
11. Never mind. Okay.
Just under the AC. As you focus and fire it off, but it is currently, after being bombarded from a javelin and an arrow, it is churning up that water quite heavily, as the water kind of takes the brunt of the guiding bolt, and it doesn't make contact, unfortunately.
And that will be her turn.
Okay. It is now the Tidefins' turn. It is going to rush up here and try to chomp down on Rhukkarrak there. Rhukkarrak, you do get your held action there, so go ahead and make your attack with your sword and your dagger as you nick with that. 15 does hit on the first one there, and 16 does hit. So both those do hit.
Excellent. I do not get sneak attack on either of these, but I will have advantage the next time I attack.
Very nice.
Because of the short sword. Okay. That is 5
5.
for the dagger.
Points for the dagger.
Short sword's just a d6. And 2.
7 points altogether. Very nice. Okay. As it then tries to chomp down on you here now. Does a 21 hit?
A 21 definitely hits.
Okay. So as you get some good attacks off on it, it gets a good chomp off on you. dealing 11 points of piercing damage. Yeah, that is going to be its turn, however. So we're going to then move down to Maldorwen.
All right. So I will. The boat is not moving, right? So I'm just gonna try and jump to the left.
Okay. It's slowly shifting, but it's not quite moving. The canals aren't natural like lazy rivers by any means. Okay. Yeah, we'll say that's only a 5, Gab. You could do that easily enough. There's not any other individuals on the boat impeding your movement there.
Okay, and then I'm gonna run up, trying to catch up with the battle there.
Okay. So if you want, you can go up. This place here is just a little like almost gazebo. There is a pathway that walks through there if you want. That would be like 20 feet, and then you could go like right in there. Can I?
Wait, before I do that, when I was like crossing right there, am I in range for a sacred flame on the creature? 60 feet?
I believe so. Just barely, yes.
Okay, great, perfect. So yeah, let's do that.
Okay. It's gonna make its dex save. Oh, it's gonna fail.
Nice. All right, it's gonna
Oh,
be yes, 8
max
points over here.
damage. Okay.
Nice.
As that radiant damage really pierces into it.
Nice.
It takes quite a bit of damage there. Still up, though, as it hasn't taken a ton overall. All right, then you want to
Right,
continue
yeah,
your
I'm
movement
just
there?
gonna keep going. Yes, and that's my turn.
So we'll say you're 10 feet into that little gazebo there. Let's see if I can just manually move you. There we go. All right, with that, Yuan, you are up.
How far is it from where I'm at to the forwardmost one of those little rafts that's there? The one by Rhukkarrak.
One right here. It's 20 feet to get to it, and then if you wanted to get closer to the actual Tidefin, it'd be like 25.
So, say from there, Euan is going to take a running leap onto the edge of that raft, so he's within 10 feet of the creature.
Okay. So if you want, you can just move up and then jump down like that.
If I got the movement for it, that's also fine.
Yeah, that way you don't have to make a check to see if you can leap across the water there.
Right. And then I'll go ahead and, with the halberd, I will make another attack against that one.
Okay, go for it.
It's a 13 hit.
13 does just hit.
Awesome. It's going to be for 11 points of damage with the
Very
halberd.
nice. Okay, it is looking very rough, as the waters are even more tinted with that kind of dark, almost reddish, purplish blood that is the Tidefin blood here.
Very well. I don't think I have any other bonus actions that I can do, so that's it for my turn.
Alrighty. Rhukkarrak, it is your turn.
Excellent. So I have advantage from the short sword of last round,
Right.
or the held action. So we're going to go ahead and attack with the short sword. That is a
That is gonna
23 to
hit.
hit.
So you do get sneak attack with this too, because you had advantage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nice chunk of change.
That's gonna do it. And so as you strike one final time, describe to me how you finish this creature off.
Oh, as it was coming up to bite him, like he slid his short sword across it, and then he kind of parried around and just chopped the thing's head off.
Okay. The heads are pretty thick. We'll say you aren't able to quite chop it off completely, but you managed to dig your sword right in deep to its kind of neckline there, as the blood kind of filters into the water there and it stops moving. It is dead. And that concludes the danger of this combat here. as you all kind of take deep breaths in, seeing kind of the chaos kind of slowly starting to die around you. The captain just kind of continues to address one of the wounds. Looks like she's going to start to grab out a pack of a healer's kit of some sort to bandage those up.
Asja's just gonna sigh at her. "Oh, don't do that." She's just gonna turn and kind of look at the wounds. And these are very bad. Little extra this time, and she is going to. So the light is gonna come from her hands and everything. She will cast Cure Wounds on the captain.
Okay.
And as she is doing this, she is going to ask the captain. So, do these taste good?
They are
22 points of
nasty,
HP,
I guess,
hit
that's
points
for sure.
back.
Wait, do they taste good? Was not thinking
Yes.
about that at all. Oh, that feels
Oh.
much better. Thank you so much.
No problem. I always think about food and things that could be food.
You know,
Mm.
I have had a few stews with them. They're not the most tasty, but they definitely can be cooked. They have other valuable things, though. We should get them out of the water as soon as possible. The blood itself is quite useful.
Oh. Sure. Euan, Rhukkarrak, if you could pull them out of the water, apparently they are quite useful, but don't taste so good.
You will
Interesting.
kind of nod and just reach down to grab the one by the gash in its neck and start dragging it out of the water.
And she'll
Rhukkarrak
kind of
will help
look
him.
around.
Okay.
Where is Maldorwen? I don't see his feathers. Where is he? And she's gonna try and find Maldorwen, who is in the gazebo. So there we
As
go.
another
Now
one
he's
kind of
moved.
pops out
Okay.
of the.
You okay, Maldorwen?
Yes,
She'll
I
try
am
to cross.
fine.
Good.
Everything all right over there?
Yeah, we're just taking them out of water. Captain says that they're worth money. I don't know. I should go find that guard, though, and make sure he's okay. And she will walk
Okay.
off to go and find the guard that got injured as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll try to join them at the other side of the canal.
Yeah, you can do so. You can either, if you want to jump across, we'll have you make another check. Or if you want to just go up and around the bridge, it'll take maybe a little bit longer, but no check required.
Yeah, I'm gonna go around this time. I don't want to get wet again. Barely
Still
dry.
a little damp from, an earlier incursion of water. You decide to go around and meet up with the rest of the group. As Asja, you kind of approach the guard there, who's kind of sat up, a little away from the canal itself. Still kind of eyes wide and a little bit of shock. Kind of just massaging the wound that is partially closed. Still almost bleeding quite heavily, though. Continues to kind of just hold pressure to it. Thank you for what you did. I thought I was dead. Thing it came out of the water so fast. Oh man. This life might not be for me.
You did good. You did very good. And she will just continue to kind of, clean out the wound and just reassure him that, he did great. It was wonderful. And, all the rest, and just try and pick him back up again, mentally and physically, I guess.
He kind of starts to calm down a bit. Well, eyes lessen a bit as relaxation kind of exudes from you. And he's able to calm down a bit. Slowly, the different commoners of the city start to, curiosity piqued, start to poke their heads out, seeing that the initial danger here has kind of dispersed or been taken care of. They start to slowly come back out. And the semblance of the city life starts to slowly become more lively.
Rhukkarrak's going to turn to the captain and just, these things seem pretty tough. Does their skin make for some decent leather?
No, I don't think anyone has really tried. Maybe. I don't know. I do not know that. I know that their blood is quite useful in alchemical purposes. It makes quite durable potions that allow you to actually breathe the water itself, which is quite useful in a port city like this. But we could try skinning one.
Well,
It
I mean, I just don't
helps lift one out of the water.
I don't think that we should waste anything that we can use. But I mean, it is. I am not the expert here. You can do with them whatever you please. But I was just curious.
No, it's a good thought. You could always take it to many of the merchants, have it tanned and whatnot. Sure, it could make some decent leather. You all did quite exceptional, though. I'm glad I sought you out originally. You can see a bit of confusion kind of across her face and almost a sense of wonder and curiosity kind of across her face there. I don't understand how this happened, though. We have quite the perimeter. How did these beasts get into the city? This has not happened. Like, this doesn't happen.
As Euan's rage falls off, the bark skin around him slowly turns to ash and just kind of falls away as he makes his way over to the captain. My guess is we would have to look to the mouths of the canals to see if there's any way they could have gotten in. If your perimeter is as good as you say, which I have no doubt that it is, that would be the first place to check.
I agree. I'll have to check in with the guards that are posted at the southern gate in the harbor. I'd imagine they wouldn't just let these creatures in like this. Something must have gone wrong down there, or somewhere else in the city.
Well, there
Sure.
is something else as well.
What is that?
Kasdurim
But
and these creatures at the same time in their city.
That,
Azu's gonna walk over and kind of nodding and go, that's very quietly say, that's what I was going to say as well. You did just say harbor, right?
Well, these
Well-
creatures are quite common in the Movian Gulf that we are currently mostly on. But they usually keep their distance, and any ones that do get close, the guardsmen take care of. There hasn't been a breach like this in, I don't even know how long. At least not one of this severity. So you might, that is interesting.
I, for
well,
one, would
You
like to
might
go
also
check.
consider.
One at a time. What is everyone saying?
Mal, you can go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say that conflict already knocked on your door here. And if the enemy is at the shore, it is only natural to think that this is an omen from the conflict.
Let us not jump to conclusion too much, because we will, when we are still planning on to looking into them, correct? As he looks around the party.
Aye, that's the plan. I, for one, would like to go check on the guardsmen at the Gulf Gate. I'd hate to think that they're all laying there dead or worse, captured or whatever. I think it's worth a look on all of our parts. We're all a part of this now, whether we wanted to be or not.
That is a
Captain.
good idea.
Yes.
I
But
have
as far as the
questions
council
for you.
room, let's not jump to conclusion. We don't know for sure. It may be, but I doubt it.
The coincidence is interesting. What was your question?
My question is this. So, in your city, again, she's speaking quietly. In your city, how do guardsmen work? So, this merchant, does he own guardsmen? Could he have maybe put guardsmen somewhere? And maybe, I don't know, they all have snack break at same time? I just wonder. How do your
It's-
guardsmen work here? Or is it citywide? Or how run?
I mean, that is an interesting theory. It would take quite a bit of pulling strings for Aeon to set that up. Don't think it's impossible, though. I'm not sure. We can speculate all we want. I think we need to take some action here, though. We need to get to the bottom of this. If there's more inbound, we need to stop them before they get into the city. You see all the damage that would caused here. Give me this. Kind of picks up one of the Tidefins, kind of holding it across her side almost. I'm gonna take this back to the Tide chapter. Start to make use of what I can and ask some questions as well.
Perhaps you should put your men in high alert. That would also give us an indication of how the merchant will react.
Problem is, I do not control many men right now. That is why I contacted you. We're quite low staff, like I was telling you. Around this time, you see another platoon of differently dressed kind of guards of the city. You've seen these. You saw two of these posted at the outsides of each of the gates that you guys entered in. They're kind of in this almost purple line kind of armor that is quite uniform. They have a symbol of a shield that has a little circle in front of it. It looks kind of something like this. Kind of emblazoned onto their chest pieces as a squadron of like 4 of them start to march up towards the scene here, finally arriving almost a full minute or so after the scene has died down. What's going on here? The captain speaks up. The Tidefins, we don't know where they come from. Tidefins in the city? That doesn't bode well. As he kind of turns back and starts to make some notes of what happened here as the other guards kind of start to converse.
Were there any problems at the ocean gate to maybe let them in?
We haven't heard any distress signals, no, other than the commotion that was right here. Tried to get here quickly.
Well, they're dead now.
I can see. Another thing, we're very grateful that the Sentinels are here. Thank you for doing this. Do you all know where they came from?
We were just discussing
we were
that.
wondering. And why so many questions? Who are you?
We are the force, the god force of the city. Storm Wardens. Yes, they are more in charge of the city itself. And protection therein. Where we have
seems
downward
like you
sentinels
arrived
just
very
deal
late.
with. Yes, arrival was a little delayed. Apologies. Wish we could have got here sooner. But looks like you guys had it handled for the most part. Does look like there's a casualty up there, though. We're gonna need to take them to the Tideswip Sanctuary. You go do that. As one of the guards kind of nods and breaks off. That is quite curious. This will need to be documented. Can I get everyone's names, please?
I am
Maldorwen.
Maldorwen,
Herders will
Rhukkarrak.
always be glad to assist.
My name is Euan.
Euan, and then Captain, like, well, who you are. Well, I do appreciate the help here. I do not, we're gonna investigate where this came from. Don't believe, we were actually further down towards the southern edge, and we didn't see them at all here. I don't imagine they came from the harbor itself. The Gulf. This is decently in of the city. Interesting. Sorry, just thoughts. Well, if you find anything else out, don't be afraid to inform us as well. And
Do you
thank
know of
again for your
anywhere
service.
that... Oh, pardon the interruption. You know of anywhere that might have been convenient to hide cages or crates or something that they might have been smuggled into the city?
I mean, there's quite the amount of places that could have been done. We have a pretty thorough examination point, though, at the actual harbor there, the southern gates. That would be interesting if something like that could have been. Good thing, I'll check into that, though.
It'd be far easier to buy 1 or 2 people than an entire force. Those are my thoughts.
Who should we look for if we were to report something like this, or if we find out anything about it?
You can just tell a Storm Warden you see, or you can head to the Tempest Bastion. Kind of points towards the west there. You can barely see just in the skyline a taller building that kind of is towards the center of the city itself. Right over there, Tempest Bastion is where we operate out of. And, yes. Thank you again for this. And he just kind of turns back to his other guards and starts issuing some other orders as they start to kind of calm down the rest of the citizens who are now fully starting to kind of their curiosity peaked. Kind of walking up towards you and kind of bustling past you. You hear gasps and exclamations of, "Tidefins in the city? What? Is this place even safe anymore?" And whatnot, as people start to move throughout. The general air of caution, and a little bit of worry kind of inset into the general people here. But some of the people do come up to the group here. "Thank you all so much for what you did. You all are heroes, thank you." And one of them is even a merchant who like brings up like a cart of smoked what looks like crustacean, and "You want a snack for the road? On me, thank you for the help. I was so worried that my cart was gonna be eaten. The scent of these smoked canal crabs they attract anything. I might have been the cause. I hope not. Good day."
I will take you. I will take one.
As he's standing there, with his long spiel. "Oh, your cart might still get eaten." She will take one and kind of nibble it. "And what does it taste like? Does it taste good?"
It is delicious. It's like melts in your mouth like the most perfectly cooked lobster that you've eaten. A little bit of smoky flavor to it. It's not super
How
spicy.
much?
But
That's fine. I have sauce. I have sauce.
that's true.
She takes her bite and looks at him. "How much?"
That one
You
is
charge.
for free. If you want more,
No, more. How much for more?
each skewer is couple copper.
Couple copper. Oh, you are undercharging. Couple copper. No. And she's going to pull out, I guess, a silver and hand it to him and grab 5 more skewers.
You like
You are
clean them out.
undercharging. You are so undercharging, and this is so good. Even though not spicy, still, you need to charge more money. She'll just walk away. So good.
Not only you saved the city, you then put in my whole stock. Ah, I love adventurers.
Just
And
continues
I
on.
love food. She'll say.
The little lass and I will never turn down a meal. Thank you for your patronage.
Gonna gives an on.
And she
Well.
will hand everyone else a second skewer as well. So, out of the ones that she bought, she'll give a second one to Rue, and then a second one to Euan, and then she'll look at Mal. Do you want second one?
Yes, I can keep it in my pocket.
Okay, here you go. And then she's got hers.
Ewan has doused both of his skewers with hot sauce and is munching happily, shell and all. He gives no mind.
Make sure
this
to
is
mark that off with
really
your
good.
sheet.
Oh, thank you.
Will do.
Thank you, Asja, for this second one. These are very good.
Food is always something that you share with people. You never eat alone. You always eat with people.
Mm.
Well,
You know what, Asja? I like you. I like the way you think.
Yes, you're also very brave.
What do you mean, brave?
And you are very strong. I think I'm gonna call you Fortish.
I don't know what that means, but whatever you want. But also, Maldorwen's right. You handled yourself well out there, little one. Well done, I'm proud of you.
Okay, thank you. Asja just did what Asja does.
Oh, Captain, what are you? How are we going to take care of these processing these bodies?
the Tidefins themselves aren't a problem. They don't contain any death energy. The other one, I guess there was a casualty up further north that we weren't able to save, unfortunately. Quite a tragedy. The guards should be able to. Storm Wardens will handle that there. With the rest of the bodies here,
I
though.
I appreciate the concern for the death energy because it is a scourge of the land. But no, I was asking, how are we going to harvest them? The Tidefins. Are you going to take care of that, or did you want us to take them, or?
If you want, I can.
Also, well, isn't the reason why you're here looking for ways to deal with death energy? How do you deal with the death energy here, Captain Graves, if you don't mind me asking?
It's a bit of a process. We have rituals that take place in the Tideswept Sanctuary across the city to send your loved ones off on a raft. I'm sure if you head that way, you could find more information out. I'll leave it up to you. I can have the wardens. I can contact some wardens to come take care of these. They do have some valuable stuff, though, and they're kind of large beasts.
Is continuing to drag one of them.
Not easy to move around. We can also potentially wave down a ferryman with a larger boat and pack them on board there and take them to one of the shops in town that I believe the Vel Crucible. I'm sure we can get some coin from at least their blood.
Oh, that sounds like a good idea. Should definitely. I am interested in getting some of this potion. I don't know how well I would do in these large bodies of water, and having the ability to breathe it would be preferable.
Absolutely.
Yes. Also, if you wouldn't mind a word in private, there's something I would like to discuss.
Well, I'm heading back to the Tide chapter. You're welcome to follow. I'll leave. I'm going to take this one back. I'll haul it back myself. But I'll leave the other ones. If you guys want to take it to the Veld Crucible, get some coin. It's at least we can offer you for recompense for your aid in taking care of this threat. This looking into the threat too. I know I've already kind of burdened you with some other things that the city needs. But this might be more precedent than some of the other stuff. I'm going to look into it personally as well. I have other things on my plate though that I need to take care of.
Well, what if we take care of these so they do not go bad, and then we meet at the Tide chapter? We can discuss what we do next.
That could work. Did you need to talk now, little one, or would you like to wait until later?
Either way is fine. It won't take very long.
I have a moment to spare.
All right. And as she starts walking, I'll walk with her for a bit. So I'll say, do you know of a way to send word to Kertash safely?
There are different messengers and postal services. Use Stormbirds usually. Kertash is a little more interesting. Do not know of a way yourself.
Well, there is no one from my city here that I can see.
Oh, you are definitely a bit of an oddity, but an appreciated one at that. I'm sure that some of the postal services in town could assist you in that.
Well,
Yeah. I believe the nearest one
If-
to here is on the harbor's edge. It's right, same street that the Veld Crucible is on.
I know that some of the men affiliated with you travel quite far. And I also
You
know
do?
that you are... Well, you don't have many hands at the moment. But if I am able to help you with some of these problems, perhaps consider sending one of yours, someone we can trust, someone I can trust.
Sensitive information, I see. It could potentially be arranged. Especially depending on if you all show your capabilities more, like you did today. I'm definitely willing to help you out as well.
All right. I don't want to take more of your time. Thank you, Captain.
Thank you.
Now, quick question.
I'll head back.
Did Maldorwen indicate that he wanted to talk separate from the party as well, or was it just separate from the crowds? When he wanted to talk private.
I think that
I
was
mean, he just said
the
private.
captain and Maldorwen as they kind of, well, it depends. As they kind of walk off and have that conversation, walking back towards the Tide chapter there, what are the rest of you doing? There's still these 4 Tidefin, or 3, because she took one, that you kind of managed to take out of the water here. You see some other individuals start to clean up some of the debris and whatnot and help as they kind of thank you as well, before a couple more of the ferrymen now start to appear back, kind of picking up and dropping off passengers.
Oh, that's a good point. So yeah, he would just, because I thought they were just gonna kind of walk off together as a party, but yeah, no, he would have been busy trying to locate a barge large enough to transport it.
Right. And it takes you a few minutes, but eventually you can kind of wave down a larger boat that you can see a ferryman's kind of drifting around. There's a couple people on board, but you can kind of guide them to where you guys are at. I see that there was quite the commotion over here. Need some travel? Looks like you want to transport these as well?
Oh, yes. We would like to get them to the Veiled Crucible for processing.
I see. Not quite accommodating to carrying dead Tidefins, but we can make it work, I think. Yeah, we have enough space here. And kind of gets off a larger barge of a vessel here and starts to help carry them onto the actual boat itself. While that's happening, Euan, Asja, will you two do anything, or are you just helping out with that?
My plan's to just help out with that. I still have the Pyro Beast organ to pawn off as well. So
I will go back to. I will go with Maldorwen. I meet you back at the other place, okay? Smell
Very
of
well.
meat. I don't want to go somewhere we're processing. No. Thank you, though.
I understand.
And she will just kind of turn and almost with a skip to her step start, like, okay, I can see his feathers, and start, like following behind, but occasionally get distracted by like, oh, that looks candied. And like, a couple coppers here and a couple coppers there. So when she finally does catch up, she's got some more extra bags of snacks on her and stuff like that. But
Her wallet is empty by the time she catches up.
no, everything's so cheap here. It's coppers. Wow.
As you kind of just meet back up with Maldorwen right as the conversation ends off, Maldorwen, you kind of stop. The captain continues on, practically at the tide chapter now, a few 100 feet off. So you two are there. Rhukkarrak and Yuan, you finish putting the Tidefins on board. They're pretty hefty beasts. Like, these things are quite large. It takes a decent amount of effort to lift them up, and you're trying to maneuver them in a way that they don't lose too much blood, as that's the valuable stuff. And then slowly but surely start to drift off with that ferryman towards the Veiled Crucible. Asja, Maldorwen, what are you guys doing at that moment? You would, as you guys meet up, you can look back a couple 100 feet and still see that they're finishing up packing those guys up. You could go meet up with them if you want, or you can do something else.
So as he's watching her close the gap between them, and like, I don't know, she's smiling from ear to ear, carrying her bags of sweets, he'll kind of like stare at her for a bit and looks like he's like spaced out almost.
Asja will just kind of stop. Are you done talk, or do we go with... I don't want to go to the process place. I told them we would meet them here. What do you want to do? You can go with him if you want.
Asja, yes. Sorry. What were you saying? Go where?
Oh, they're going to the Veiled Crucible to process the Tidefins. And
Oh,
don't really want to go to a place like that. Nope.
I'm not really interested in trade. No.
No, the smell. I would think the smell might be very bad in place where they process. But what do you want to do? I told them we would meet them here, but I don't know how long it's going to be for them.
Well, there is someone that I wanted to meet actually. And well, seeing as there is danger in the city, I didn't bring my crossbow. And now I'm kind of regretting it. I wanted to take a break from carrying the thing, but seems like it's gonna stick with me for now.
It does look very heavy. Well, I could wait here if you wanted to go find the person and your crossbow. And then that way, if the other two come, I can just say that you went to go and get something and that you will be right.
Didn't they say we were gonna meet back at the Tide chapter or something like that?
That's where we are.
Yes. Well, if you want, you can also come with me to the Flame and Flagon.
Okay, you might want to also get dry clothes. You're still kind of wet.
Yes, don't mention it. You may want to find a place to store your... Well, all that. What is that?
I am so sorry. Could you
Tons and
please
tons
repeat
of
your
food.
last sentence?
He said that you also may want to find a place to store like all the food you bought, and he was wondering like what is it exactly that you bought.
Okay. Sorry, my computer froze for a second or something. I'm not sure, so I apologize. Oh, this one is the tasty one that the man gave us. These will be done by the time we get back. This one seemed to be some sort of candied fruit, I think. I am not sure. It looked good though. This one, I don't know if you will like or not, but it looked like bugs from back home. And she holds open a bag, and it just looks like little like larvae and stuff like that. I can add some hot sauce, and these will be very good midnight snack. And then she'll just, as you're walking, she'll go through the couple of pouches that she's got and just show you the different food. She's like, I don't know what many of these taste like, but I want to try them all. Except for the bugs. I know what they taste like. Good. Pop in your mouth.
Variety of different seafoods, different like fish and whatnot. Some sweets here and there. All manner of food of Elandor. We'll say, I'll say, go ahead and just mark off like a gold for all the food you bought.
Yep.
All right, so you two start to head back towards the Flaming Flagon. Are you just walking there, or are you gonna grab a ferry? About an hour walk, if you want to do that. You kind of know the route. The canals are a little bit disorienting because you haven't quite been here, but using the Tempest Bastion, now you know its name, the large kind of spire in the middle of the city as a landmark, you can kind of orient yourself around where you want to go.
What do you want to do? I still don't have very good walking shoes, so maybe we
I'm not walking for the day, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. Let's go. We get the ferryman.
All right, let's mark off another 3 silver, or not silver, 3 copper for the ride back.
Okay.
As we kind of shift the scene over to Euan and Rhukkarrak, who are on this larger ferry boat that's slowly drifting towards the actual open harbor. So Elandor is a city of trade, right? But even among the many districts that you've kind of visited the last couple of days, or the last couple of hours here and the previous night, before you, as you start to break out of the actual kind of side canals and enter a larger canal that actually meets up with kind of natural part of the Gulf there, you see the Tideborn markets. And they stand apart from what you've seen prior. Sprawling, floating dock drifting upon the open waters of the Maldorwen Gulf here. You can see the actual city wall just beyond them, but it's a large kind of piers that are just built and slightly floating on the water there. And it is bustling. It is hectic as all hectic can be. Many ships are currently ported and tied into this dock itself and have been almost transitioned into markets themselves, as you just see the hum of the Tideborn markets completely overtaking like this area here. However, you were heading towards right before that. So the actual city itself kind of comes up before the Maldorwen Gulf begins. There is the final Harbor's Edge is what it's called. And it's the street where this vessel is taking you currently. And Rhukkarrak, you kind of are familiar with this. You didn't get a good sight of everything on the last evening, but you kind of pinpoint out where the Veiled Alchemist is as you guys slowly start to arrive at that destination. So as Euan and Rhukkarrak are on board this larger ferry vessel, not ferry as in like flutter ferry, but the ferry, the boat ferry. It is drifting towards the Harbor's Edge, a large bustling street of more finer built settlements and shops here. One of which is the Veiled Crucible. One of the party members here has visited this on the previous night, but no one else knows that. So as you fully dock on the Harbor's Edge there, and start to, with assistance from the ferryman there, start to take off the Tidefins and pay a few coin. We'll say it's like 2 silver to occupy this boat for the little bit that you did, because it pretty much took like the entire space there. But yeah, you're right in front of the shop here. It's large kind of ember glass stained windows kind of let you see into the interior here. You see all manners of shelving and whatnot. There's a sign that looks like a little cauldron itself that just says the Veiled Crucible on it. Well, here's your stop. Thanks for the coin and good luck with these. Kicks one of the Tidefins.
Sorry for the mess on your boat.
Yeah. He kind of looks back and there's like blood and Tidefin bits kind of all over it. Yeah, I'm gonna go get that washed. I'm not sure anybody else will want to ride alongside that. That's fine. I can take care of it. Good day. And drifts his way out.
I think Rhukkarrak would have... would he have any of his stuff with him? Actually, probably not. Never mind. He would have done nothing. Well, he would have tried to look around to see if there's a way to, like, tie off the wounds of the beasts to stench the flow of blood on the way here, but...
Yeah, we'll say go ahead and make a medicine check, I guess, as you do so, just to kind of try the bleeding. This will also dictate, depending on how much you get paid for these. You're doing okay. So you make some attempts. It's interesting trying to close wounds of these Tidefins, but you manage to stop some of the blood. Not completely successful, but partially successful. but you guys start to kind of make your way into the Veiled Crucible there. Yeah. There we go. As the shelvings are completely lined with all manner of concoctions of different potions and brews and whatnot. You see in the back corner different cauldrons that are currently like steaming and bubbling. You hear the bubbling of the liquids being brewed in there. As from one of the back counters, elven figure kind of steps out, feminine in form, her slender, graceful form accentuated by swirling blue tattoos across her arms and shoulders, reminiscent of wind currents. Her long black hair streaked with crimson cascades down her back, while amber eyes shimmer subtly, like embers glowing beneath the surface. She wears elegant, sleeveless robes that shift in color from deep blue to a fiery red, mirroring her connection to both air and fire. Silver rings etched in with elemental runes adorn her fingers, and small ember-shaped charms jingle from her ears. A belt around her waist holds potion vials and enchanted pouches, always prepared for trade and experimentation. As Rhukkarrak, you know this to be Zalindra, the individual you met previously. Welcome in. She kind of meets eyes with Rhukkarrak and is startled a little bit. But then, actually, Euan, go ahead and make an insight check for me.
Because I'm great at those. Not really. Oh, 18.
18 is really good. You do see a hint of recollection kind of go across her face very briefly before she kind of readjusts as she looked at Rhukkarrak there. Welcome in. Looks like you have some beasties out there. Ah, the Tidefins, right? Oh, their blood would be quite excellent. I was running low on that. What were you saying?
Yes, we're told this is the place to sell them and potentially get their blood converted into potions.
Right, that's exactly what I do here. Right, yeah. Let me open the back door. She kind of goes back towards the further of the entrance there and allows you to, instead of hauling the dead corpses through the actual shop itself, you're able to maneuver them back through the little bit of an alleyway there and bring it into a larger back room where there is yet again some really large kind of vessels of what you can only imagine are used to make and craft concoctions of all manner of sorts. She kind of helps bring some of them in nimbly. She doesn't kind of get into it like the rest of you, but helps a bit. Let's see. These are quite large. Usually, my imports, they're quite fresh too. Did you just fish these up in the harbor?
We fished them out of the center of the city.
Excuse me?
We fished them out of the canals in the city.
They were in the city?
Aye.
Okay. That's interesting. Well, regardless, they're quite fine specimen. Definitely hold quite a bit of blood still, which is perfect. That's the main component used in the potions of water breathing, as I call them. Yeah, we can definitely get these suited up here. I'm assuming you're willing to part with all three of these?
Oh, yes. I don't know. Euan, do you need the coin? I was thinking that we could just trade for half of the potions that they make.
I could use some of the coin. There are a few things that I need to collect, and I'm running short.
Well,
but other than that, if you want to trade, I guess what you would be getting from your portion, I have no problems with that.
well, that works for me. Yes, I as these belong to everyone, that is fine. I thought it'd be easier if it was just all the same, but anyway, and he's gonna turn back to the shopkeep. Yes, so what what would they be worth?
And let me do some calculations. You can see he kind of moves them over somewhat onto like a little bit of a pulley and lifts them up to a little of a contraption and starts to work with them a bit. Quite good. We'll say 100 gold pieces per, or 300. If you did want to sub that out for potion instead, I like the idea of that. We could do, usually I charge around 200 gold pieces per potion, but I could make do with 2 potions for the 3.
This would probably be the place to ask for this as well, and he'll pull out the Pyro Beast organ, or the Pyro organ, Flame organ, whatever it is, from the Pyro Beast. I also have this from my travels.
He kind of puts on like some gloves and grabs it. This is definitely not very fresh, but still useful.
Unfortunately, no.
I could probably give you 25 gold for this.
Very well. I'll go ahead and throw that in as well.
Very well. Kind of puts it off to the side with some other kind of assortment. Now you're kind of standing in here proper and looking around. You see all manner of kind of weird things that are used to brew some of these potions. That kind of are a little spooky in this back room.
Oh, I actually, while we're doing this, I also have the energy sac from a Stormbird.
Oh, those are always useful.
Yes, it's also not extremely fresh, but
They're
yes,
a bit larger
we should
than
probably
the
just
ones
get
I'm
it.
used to, though.
Oh, really? Well, we should probably just get it all in gold. I don't know what the wishes of the rest of the party are.
Very well. Okay, for the Stormbird, that... Let's just have the two of you roll general charisma checks for me. Just to see how you come off in this situation here.
Oh, why did Asja not come with you?
Right. A 15 is not awful.
Hey, those are some pretty good
Nice.
rolls, though.
18.
No, you seem like newfound faces here in Elandor. We'll call it even 400 for the lot of it. As she kind of goes to a almost vault-looking thing and starts to open it up and count out some coins, and hands you two pretty large sacks of coins. Each of those should be 20 platinum each.
Very well. I think that's a fair trade. What do you think, Rhukkarrak?
Yes, but that will work.
If you'd like as well, I mean, the shop is open. If you have need of any other potions, like this water breathing.
Euan will open up his little pouch that he has, pull out 5 of the platinum from his share and hand it over to Rhukkarrak. Yeah. You seem like you need it. I don't need this much. So you can add it to whatever fund you need.
Oh no, that is, this is fine. I don't. Like I said, I was going to barter for potions because I did not need the cash, the coin. Right now, all I need is probably a healer's kit for this cash. But yes, that's. It is fine. You keep your money.
Okay.
All right, very well. And he'll put it back in the pouch.
Yes, if we need any potions, we know exactly where to get them. But I don't need anything at the moment.
Very well. Well, thank you for the beasties here. I will turn them into some very neat potions for the wonderful people of the city. But, good day, I guess.
She kind of leads you back to exit of the back room there. And you guys are walked back out into the bustling city of Elandor. The time slowly starts to transition to midday here now. And we'll kind of cut back over to both Asja and Maldorwen, as you guys kind of take the ferry back to the Flamin' Flagon. It's a couple, it's not a super long ride. It's probably 20-ish minutes, probably, right, as you kind of go throughout the canals. Just get a visit or take in the vibrant port city here. Eventually you do return back to the Flamin' Flagon. Is there anything in particular you would like to do there?
I think we came back mostly for Maldorwen, but Asja will go up to her room and carefully put her snacks away. But of course, she will take some snacks with her too.
Yep. I wanted to grab my crossbow from my room, and also I'm gonna go approach the bar. Is Lenning there? Who is there?
Oh, yeah, currently Lennon is
Okay.
polishing one of the glass flagons.
So he'll be. Excuse me, Lennon.
Oh, yes.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome back. Enjoying the city so
Thanks.
far?
Yes, it's been quite interesting. Has a man named Tarion been here looking for me, perhaps?
There, yes, I do believe so, yes. That's right. Jog my memory there. I believe they are actually sitting right over... And right about this time, Tharion kind of steps up towards the bar, too. It's good to see you again, Maldorwen. I was hoping to run into you today.
Ah, well, it seems like it's good timing on my part. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. I do enjoy being back in the city. You spoke of yesterday, though, that you wanted a proper tour, if you will. And I've spent many years in the city and would love to offer that to you if you have the time.
I think we do have the time. I never asked you, were you born here?
Indeed I was. I spent most of my life trading within these great walls. It's only the recent couple of years that your people have just fascinated me. I've taken the trek back and forth.
Well, I hope Iserna is well. There is a friend of mine here that she should be down in a couple minutes. We should wait for her, and if you don't mind, there's a couple people that we should pick up at the Tide chapter.
Alright,
Not too far from here.
that can be done. Is Rhukkarrak one of those individuals?
Yes, actually.
Good to hear. As Asja kind of stumbles down the stairs. Food in
Stumbles,
tow.
hey, I've got good dexterity.
Wait, not
Okay, she stumbles because she was
walks
paying
very
attention to her.
gracefully.
She kind of stumbles a little bit on the stairs as she's, trying to put pouches of snacks away and stuff like that. And kind of gets that little and picks herself up and meant to do that. And keeps going. Looks around. Oh, there's Maldorwen. Goes over to the table. Hello.
It is a pleasure to
People.
meet you. Before you see quite an older elven individual here. You can see a bit of wrinkles starting to show in their face. Even being an elf, that means they're quite old. But they're dressed in pretty common apparel, nothing super fancy, but enough to distinguish them from other individuals. A little bit fancier as they kind of greet you. Pleasure to meet you.
I have learned to ask. Right. First we start. I am Asja. What is your name?
Asja. Beautiful name. My name is Euan Starshatter.
Oh, you give second name to. Then I am Asja Einarog.
The pleasure is all mine. I was just offering to Maldorwen here a little bit of a tour of the city.
Yes, Therion here is one of our traveling companions. We came with him from Kertash.
Oh. So, you are from Caritas, or you are from
No.
here?
I am from here.
Have you
yes,
always been from here?
Other than the last few years where I've traveled back and forth to Curtis, yes.
Oh. Well, when is good time, I have questions for you. But now you want to give tours, so maybe not good time.
I mean, the tour will be a decent long time, and if you have questions as we go, feel free to ask. I'll try to answer to the best of my knowledge. And if they're about the city,
Good.
it's quite vast.
Well, seeing as we already, right, Asja? I think we could leave right now. Look for Ruka and Fortis.
Sounds good to me. I brought snacks. And hot sauce. 4 more snacks.
All right. Let's look for a ferryman then.
Oh, I have my own boat that we'll take, if you don't mind.
Oh, well, that is convenient actually. Yes, I don't mind it at all.
It's a bit of a side gig I work on, if trades aren't bringing the coin. You can always find people that need to go places.
He's part-time Uber. Okay, yeah, sure.
Alright.
Well, let's
You
go
guys-
to your boat.
Head back out of the tavern there, Lennon kind of waving a hand and have a good one before Darren kind of brings it to not super large little ferry boat here, but accommodable to at least you two, him, and maybe a couple other people as well. It might be a little bit of a tight fit with all 5 of you, including the other 2 party members, but you should make it work, right? As you then start to drift out of the actual canal there, right next to the, oh my goodness, lemon flagon. That's the word I was looking for.
Excuse me, Starfish. It's actually 4.5 people, so yeah.
That's true. That will help.
He's got a valid point.
So, this first section of the city, right where we are, right next to the flaming flagon back there, this is the Cinderville, is what it's mainly called. The most northern part of the city. It's where most of the general commoners call home. People that just live here. Quite a lively bunch. Different vendors do sell to them and kind of snake their canals in and feed them different foods and whatnot, but most of the business itself happens further south in the city. Which actually reminds me, Maldorwen, because you didn't want to take my gold. You Katosa, you. I have something for you. He kind of reaches into one of the side containers of the actual boat there and pulls out a piece of parchment and hands it to you.
This I was able to pick up, and I know you had a tendency to always look at maps there, so I was hoping this would be a good gift. And it's a map of Curtis,
Wow.
which
Like
or
made
not
by
Curtis, Elandor, map of
Oh, okay.
Elandor. Wrong name.
elves? All right.
Let's see.
That's awesome. He will take it and look at it for a second, and then like a tear rolling down his cheek, and he
It's
will
beautiful.
go in for a hug.
Oh, I'm
If,
glad you enjoy it. Kind of pats you on the
Okay.
back, kind of having to like scrunch down to fully hug you. Yeah, this is basically what you kind of, as you unfurl the map, this is kind of what you see.
Oh, it's awesome.
So like, yeah, and this is the first time, well, you kind of previously, you recall way back when Curtis actually traveled above Elandor for a brief few days there. And you could kind of see the top down of the city then, but this is a lot more detail than you could make out back then. So the city itself is completely circular in nature, and a lot of it, like the southern portion, is just like in the Gulf itself, especially as the more water is in the world in Tideswell and Stone Hollow. But he kind of points out to the map. You guys are like right up here. I don't know if you can see that. Let me zoom in.
Yeah.
That right here,
Yeah. There you go. Hmm.
which indicates that's the Flaming Flagon.
Awesome. Yeah, after thanking him properly with a hug, he will then start staring at the map and kinda as they go along, and he's telling them where they are going. Just, kind of keep track on the map as well.
Perfect.
And he looks
So-
around and stuff like that.
Let's say you kind of mark down Cinderville as you travel down this larger canal way. It's the more northern section here, rural areas of the city. So, you had questions? I'm kind of looking back towards Asja.
Oh, I just. I'm not meaning to be rude, but you do look older. And you say you're from the city. About 78 years ago. Did anyone from Mythendrel make it here?
That's a name I haven't heard in some time. Brings back dark memories of the war. Time was so chaotic there. People of Mythendrel. I do believe that some survivals did make it into the city, yes. Not to...
Did some stay? Or did they keep going?
Oh, I don't know if I would be able to tell you that. I'm not sure.
Oh,
I did not know any of them personally, unfortunately.
okay. Thank you.
I'm just...
I just
nonsense.
looking for people from my city. That's all.
Are you from Mythendrel? You're... quite young.
Yes. When the attack happened, some of the older adults and some of the parents took us into the Desert Shade Woods and hid us there before they went back to help protect the city. And we have been living in Desert Shade Woods since then, kind of hiding. I'm really
That's
first person to
fascinating.
leave to find information, see if anyone survived. Well, I'm sure someone survived, but try and find them.
That's so long to be in the wilderness, the desert shade. I'm glad you're safe.
So am I. But thank you for answering question. That's all I had. You just look like you would have maybe some information. And, well, I don't want to just start walking up to every older-looking elf going, hello, do you know about... I think that might be a... Oh... She flips to Elvin. Annoying.
Kind of gives a nod. Well, that is quite curious, though. I'm sure many people would be interested to hear your story of how you're able to survive so long in the desert shade. Myself included, but maybe on a later date.
At later date over good meal, I will tell you whatever you want to know.
I'd appreciate that.
Good.
Well, to the south here is actually the Glass Glade district is what it's called. It's more of where the very rich and almost nobility live. Also houses the Frostfire Citadel, the Tempest Bastion, and the main steam temple of the city. Really, most of the high merchants live within this place that kind of run the city more or less.
I don't understand this. So, the more money you have here, the more power you have?
To a degree.
That does not make sense to me. Where I come from,
Coin
we are
is
all the same.
opportunity. The more coin you have, the more opportunities you can choose to do. The more influence you have of the city as a whole.
Where I come from, everybody has same voice. There are leaders, but they're leaders for things that have to be made choices by one person. But other than that, everyone has same voice where I come from.
I say the merchants run the city, and they kind of do, but the city is run by a council of individuals. Some from the Sunspire Dominion itself, different individuals from Voltari, some being high, rich merchants. I know the leaders of the guard, the Storm Wardens, is one of them. So it's not... Money doesn't just directly mean that you control what you want. There are still laws and regulations that happen. But sometimes it feels like the more rich you are, the more power you have.
It is a shame that many of them are probably not happy, though.
As you kind of look towards the Glass Glade, as he's kind of describing it, they are incredibly exquisite. And you've kind of seen some of these in the past too, or in the last day or so. But they're incredibly well-made glass kind of features. And just kind of astonishing. Some of the sights and some of the different buildings within are very, very beautiful. As they kind of have the stained glasses that you've seen across the city, but just more so present, and it reflects the light in different ways. Just really has an atmosphere of beauty to it. So, your friends were down at the harbor's edge?
No. They are going to meet us at the Tides I
Chapter.
Stupid notes. Tide chapter. That's it.
I see. Quite close. Well, we'll be arriving soon. The Tide chapter is quite a building of itself. The Dawnwood Sentinels are a very graceful thing to have. They help quite a lot, with the Storm Wardens more focus on the city itself and defending, especially in the harsh, when, well, the storms come. They're crucial. But things that don't directly involve the city and whatnot, the Dawnwood Sentinels are a crucial part. As you continue to make your way down now towards, as the canal kind of opens up quite larger into part of the Morvian Gulf itself, you can see one large bridge that kind of extends from the glass glade there over to where you can see just in the distance the Tide chapter as you guys start to arrive. As you do that, though, Euan will kind of shift back over to Euan and Rhukkarrak. You guys just left the Veiled Crucible and are able to do anything you want. Are you just going to head back to the Tide chapter, or is there other shopping you would like to do?
There are a few things that Euan would like to pick up while he's out and about.
Okay.
Specifically, he'd like to replace the throwing axe that he lost in the canal. And then, while he's out and about, if he can find a pair of shoes that might work out for a certain little elvish warlock, he'd like to pick those up as well.
Okay. Go ahead and just roll me an investigation check, as you're sure with how large the Tideborn markets are and just how much bustling busyness there is.
15.
These things would be there. It's just finding them. It's the challenge. So it takes you a decent amount of time. You're able to find the throwing axe pretty easily, and you can purchase that, and then kind of looking around for some kind of footwear, and eventually come across a little stall that has all manner of different shoes and sandals and different weird styles and boots and whatnot that you can pick up a pair of like traveler's boots for Asja if you would like to.
Yep, I'll go ahead and do that. He'll just kind of stand there for a second, staring at the shoes, wondering not only what he should buy, but what size she is, and he just kind of tries to estimate it to pick up something that he hopes would be to her taste.
Okay. Rhukkarrak, anything you were looking for as
Yeah. If we're just gonna be out and about, he's gonna want to get a healer's kit.
Okay. Yeah, we'll say that's with the time that it takes Euan to find a nice pair of shoes, we'll say that you can pick that up too. Alright, well, other than that, you guys head back to the Tide chapter, or what?
On the way back to the Tide chapter, once all of our shopping and whatnot is finished, as we're just kind of walking, for the most part in silence. Euan is not that much of a talker at all. He'll kind of roll his eyes over to the side, look at Rhukkarrak while they are walking, and so you and the alchemist. She seemed to recognize you.
Did she? I do get strange reactions all the time because I do not look like a normal orc, even if people have seen orcs.
Still look on their face, just looked like a look of recognition. But he'll pause for a second for dramatic emphasis. I suppose I could have been mistaken.
Yeah, he's gonna let it drop.
Euan will nod and also let it drop.
While you guys are traveling in the tidal markets here, Rhukkarrak, just go ahead and roll me a perception check.
Perception. Oh.
Ooh, nice.
18.
Okay, and so you kind of, as you're here, you do recall the conversation you had on the previous evening. You were supposed to meet sometime tonight at a tavern of sorts that was drifting across the Tidemore markets. And as you kind of walk, you just have that in the back of your head. And you do spot towards the southern part of it, right before, or right as Yuan finds the boot vendor, the shoe vendor. There is a little, or not little, but decent sized like boat that is moored to the harbor here. It just has a little sign on it that just says the Drifting Pole. It has a little tankard inscribed onto the sign itself.
The drifting pole, you said?
Hull, Hull.
A hole. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Yep, he's definitely gonna note that for later. And just kind of follow you in. But once they're done, yeah, he would definitely want to head back to the Tide chapter.
Okay. So back you guys travel through the Tidemore markets, the bustling, busy. It's crazy how many people are going up and down this harbor. As the floor itself kind of shifts underneath the footfall of everyone as it kind of rolls with the subtle waves of the Maldorwen Gulf. But eventually you make your way back up towards the Tide chapter there and are able to cross back over. We'll say that Maldorwen and Asja, you guys arrive at the Tide chapter, and it takes a little bit, probably an extra 20 minutes after you arrive before Rhukkarrak and Yuan arrive as well. Is there anything in particular you guys would like to do then, during that time that you just kind of wait?
I think Asja will just pull out a bag of random snacks and offer them to Mal and to Therian. Anyone for a snack? While we wait?
Oh,
I am
absolutely.
food.
Okay. And she's gonna move, I guess, further back towards Therian and kind of settle in and just hold open her bag. Help yourself. I can always buy more. New
these are
foods
my
are always
favorites.
good. Oh, then I have to try them. Okay. She'll just munch in.
And Mal is gonna keep an eye out, and then when I guess they're coming or sees them approach, I'm gonna use thaumaturgy to kind of whisper into my hands as I cup them together, and I send a little whisper traveling towards Dentes's ear, so he knows where we are down there in the canal.
Okay. Do you guys just stay in the ferry, or do you actually enter the Tide chapter while you wait?
I think I would stay in the boat for now, just so
Yeah.
they can see us in the boat, and then
Okay.
like we can decide if we're gonna go in together or what.
So, eventually, yeah, you see Rhukkarrak and Yuan kind of walking on the large bridge that arrives back at, like, right next to the Tide chapter there. Send the message, you guys meet back up.
Oh, this was unexpected.
It's a pleasure to see you again, Rhukkarrak. How have you been enjoying the city?
It is different than any other city I've been in, but it is interesting. There's lots of things to buy here.
Yes. Well, I was just giving a tour here to Maldorwen and Asja, and we were waiting on you all to continue, if you would like to join.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
I have not met this person, correct?
Correct.
I apologize, I don't think we've met. My name is Euan, and I'll extend a claw.
And I give
Shake his hand.
Shake. It is a pleasure to meet you, Therian Star Shadow, resident of Elandor. And I traveled with the two of them quite some time from Curtis recently. I see. The Tide Chapter is quite an interesting place for meetup here. Are you all taking part of some of the work that they can provide?
Yes, we were helping Captain Graves, actually. And, well, we're looking into a matter that perhaps you could help us with. But I think we should start our, well, rather continue our tour, so we may speak.
Very well. And I'm glad to see that you're helping out. Warms my heart. Alright. Well, kind of make some room for the other two. And it's, even with the Maldorwen being smaller, it's not uncomfortably tight, but you guys are sitting pretty close together.
I'm gonna sit on Euan's shoulder like a parrot, okay?
I would want a cracker.
I pull a cracker out of my pouch and hand it to him. I cannot confirm this not covered in hot sauce.
Oh, man. Alright. As the boat starts drifting off from the Tide Chapter there. Let's see, we'll go back to... It's here. And you start making your way further south. And you can see kind of a structure. There's a big kind of statue of some elven individual kind of in the middle down here. And there's looks like some sort of like arena type ordeal. You can see some like boats that are differently shaped than just traveling boats. They are moving quite quickly in like a circular formation around this statue. Right down here is where a lot of the boat races happen. We actually have a pretty important race coming up on the 30th. One of the last important races of the season, as after that, the otters slowly start to diminish as Embervale draws further and further in. Yeah, this is the Tideway Arena. As you can see, as you get closer, you don't get too close to the point where like in the arena, but these ships that aren't, doesn't look like there's a race going on currently, but they're just practicing, you could assume, are just breakneck speeds, just cutting through the water as it sends ripples throughout the rest of the Gulf here. As you see, they kind of maneuver the sails in incredible speed and agility and deftness as it turns quite quickly. They're quite a spectacle to see. If you all are still around within the next day or two, I'd imagine taking a good seat on part of the canal edge would be a great view. The Stone Hollow race actually encompasses most of the city. The next day or two, you'll see some of the canals start to be shut down a bit, getting ready for this race. Adds a lot of enjoyment and excitement to the city. As he kind of continues on, breaking away from the arena there, heading closer and closer to the actual Tiber markets where you see all the bustling chatter. He has to kind of speak up a bit to talk over some of the many voices that had different vendors calling out their different wares. Come get this, come get that. You want a taste of this? And different haggling happening. And this right here is the Tideborn markets. They're quite the sight. Always busy, I swear. Even in the middle of the night sometimes. You can usually find a place to spend your gold. It's quite the challenge to find a thing in particular, but if you look long enough, anything gold can buy, the Tideborn markets can supply. On the northern section here is the harbor's edge. It's a settlement or a street or sort of a little more established shops that call this place home. And you can see just a variety of different shops all catering to different things. You see one that says Mystic Curios and Oddities. You can barely kind of see in the window there. There's just all manner of weird stuff you don't even know. You do see the sign for the Veiled Crucible, which is right there. The other ones of note are... Why is it not letting me do this? There we go. The Mystic Curios and Oddities. And then at the end here, as you make your way past, is a sign that says the Blazing Anvil. Quite a bit of... not smoke, but like hot steam rising from the center of that building. So you can faintly hear just a little bit of the tinging of metal against metal coming from the inside there. As you slowly make your way past the Tideborn markets there. To the left of the city here is what's generally referred to as the Wave Crest. A lot of different people live here as well, even though it's not quite as rural as the Cinderville up north. It's more of artisanry and creation that happens here. Elandor is quite the unique place for such things, as there's so many different imports and exports that some rarer materials found all across Author have their first chance of meeting here in this great city. And a lot of different artisans make use of that chance to craft some never-before-seen utility tools, weapons, armor. It's quite unique. You can also see at the southern edge here, there's a large, I can't remember the word. Like, where their boatyard, fixing up different boats, patching different ships, creating new vessels for traveling the long distances across Author's oceans and whatnot. You kind of slowly make your way down here before seeing a large kind of indent of water, as it has like a bit of cavernous or walls that kind of come up and make a like circular entranceway here. This is the Tide-Swept Sanctuary. It is a place of reverence and loss. It is where we properly send off our fair citizens and people of import to travel the realms of the spirit when their time is due. And that's a couple moments of quiet, just peace, as you guys kind of witness the scene. And actually around this time, you would see that a raft is being brought out from a smaller kind of building that's kind of built into it. You can't make out a ton of details as it doesn't get super close, but it is then set aflame and then sent off into the Gulf itself, kind of led by a few other boats that bring it out of the walls and off into the Morvian Gulf to become one back with the sea. And then kind of double back around upwards into back north of the city. You see the wave crest over there. All manner of commotion happening there. And then you slowly but surely kind of make your way back towards where you started, which you can see. I guess we'll show this too. The Celestial Springs bathhouse that you visited on the night prior as well, before arriving back at the Flaming Flaget. Oh, I guess.
And
we'll say this too. I forgot to. So as you're traveling up this way, back up, you do see this large building right here, which is super elegant. Like, it's castle-like almost. It's not quite as large as like your generic fantasy castles, but it is a palace for sure. Like, large spires of gleaming, beautiful architecture that kind of glint off the light as well, and informs you that is the Frostfire Citadel. It's where all the important things in the city happen. The council meets there, and they discuss different laws and whatnot. If you have court dates or issues with the wardens, usually brought there, if not into the Tempest Bastion, which is just towards the east of that. As then you're brought back up to the top.
right, and I was gonna say, as we are like making our way around and coming back to the Flame and Flagon, I would tell Tyrion about the creatures we fought. And
Okay.
actually, as we approach, say, well, thanks for showing us around. It is very generous of you to share your time.
Absolutely.
And as I was saying, we are wondering if part of, or maybe the cause of this commotion with the creatures, with the Zorex, was caused by the Khazad-dûrim that we heard came to try and share, trade with you.
It's very concerning to hear that creatures were within the walls. It's only happened very, very infrequently in my many years of being within the city. Usually it's always because something goes wrong. But if they were... The Storm Wardens, they didn't arrive quickly. Where exactly did this happen again?
Well, it was actually not too far from the Tide chapter.
If we use the map as reference, it was like right up this street.
And the walls that surround the city seem pretty strong. So creatures like those usually are not able to pass through. Unless there is a hole on the wall. I don't know.
Right.
And well, you just got here from Kertos, obviously, but so I don't think you would know about the Khazad-dûrim too much. But we did hear that.
What is this with Khazad-dûrim?
They are in boat outside of your city. They want trade with Elandor.
Really?
Apparently.
That doesn't bode well.
And
of
one of
course-
your merchants apparently really wants this. I find this very strange, but that's just me and, well, you know why.
it's not just you. I find it incredibly disturbing, like trading with the Khazdurim. Why don't you go ahead and trade with them your life essence?
I have traded with the Khazdurim many times. Well, I traded with them once, but my home people trade with them all the time. Remember, I am from the north. That is where the Khazdurim rule. And I understand that there has been much blood loss between the two groups, but to automatically assume that these Khazdurim are trying to sabotage the city, I think is unfair. I don't know these Khazdurim, and that is why I want to go talk to them. But
You are young. You don't know of the wars that have waged between the Dominion and the Khazdurim. It's been a moment of peace that we've enjoyed these last several years. But if they're on our doorstep, I don't like it.
well, we can find out.
Well, Dentes, you say that you can trust them somehow.
Well,
That you've trusted them before.
I don't know if I can trust these Khazdurim, just like I don't know how if I can trust any particular stranger. But to automatically assume that they are here to destroy the city just because they're Khazdurim, I think is not fair.
I cannot think of other reasons, to be honest. Perhaps this is just a new facade for their attack. Perhaps they just want to get into the city to know its weakness. Perhaps they're just prodding. But, well, what is certain is that they feel comfortable enough to sail here.
I can see what both of you are saying. I also have no love for the Khazdurim after what they've done to my home. However, Rhukkarrak is right. We deserve to at least hear them out, see what it is. Going into whatever conversations, discussions, deliberations, or combat, if that's what it comes down to, with the understanding that there is potentially a chance that there is a situation here that is far above us, especially if one of the merchants is pushing so hard for them to come in, much to everyone else's, don't want to say distaste. I don't necessarily think that they're here to destroy the city, but there is context here that makes me think that there's something else more afoot here than normally meets the eye, or than meets the eye initially here. That's why I think it's something that we are more than capable of checking into and seeing if we can get to the bottom of what's going on here before we either villainize people or before the city itself gets damaged or hurt worse than it is. We'd have to all be fools to not consider the awkward timing of the Vizoric attack that we all dealt with earlier today. Just need to keep our wits about us.
Yes, the strange attack is very concerning. And
If
who knows?
Khaz-
Maybe it is tied to them. We
Durham are outside of the city, though, I don't think they would be able to get creatures like that in. It's also strange. If they were really that far north and not even from the Gulf itself, I don't know. I have a hard time believing. The rules and regulations of trade in and out of the city are quite strict. And
maybe someone was trying to bring them in for trade for where? The blood, very fresh blood, and they got loose. Who knows?
Or they could have been brought in as a covert and direct attack on the city, which is what happened. And no life was lost as a result. It could have been worse if we were not in the area to help deal with it.
Right. Something very suspicious is the fact that the guards were nowhere to be seen.
I agree with that, Maldorwen.
The guards don't usually patrol that area. They could patrol the southern edge and the gates mainly. It might be a little suspicious them getting there a little later than they probably should have been, but it's not unlike... I would imagine that it's not super odd, as that's just not somewhere they need to worry about ever. These things don't happen. Did anyone see where the Tidefins came from?
No, I was
didn't seem
thinking
like-
we should probably try and trace it back. Ugh. Well, probably too late now. Trial's probably cold.
The captain suggested they probably came in from the southern... Go ahead, lovely
Sorry.
one.
I was just going to say, maybe not. Maldorwen, you have map now, right?
Yes.
Can I see map for 2 seconds?
Absolutely. You can see it for as long as you like.
Okay, so we were here, and all of the little fish, well, big fish were, Tidefins were swimming, and she's gonna point the direction that they were swimming. So more than likely they come from, and she's gonna kind of run her finger back down the canal towards the harbor. So in the opposite direction that they were actually all swimming, because they all seem to be swimming in the same direction, unless that's just the GM put them that way. So somewhere along this route, I guess, is where from harbor, right here in south, like you were going to say that the captain said.
We'll say using the map, go ahead and just make, I think, an investigation check. And if Maldorwen, if you're wanting to help Asja there, you can do so with advantage, or you can both roll.
Yeah, I will definitely help Asja. I also want to guide her, if you allow me.
Yeah.
Sure.
How do you do so?
I will kinda, I guess, trying to recall what happened there, and looking at the uniform on Adentes. I'm gonna take some of his blood, and I'm gonna taste it, and I will put a little bit on the map, like marking the spot where we fought, and ask the conflict to guide me, or rather, guide Asja.
Okay, very cool. Asja, go ahead and
So
roll
I am
investigation.
rolling with advantage with a +4.
Plus
Sorry, plus a D4.
Yes.
Yes, a D4 is what I meant. Sorry.
Maldorwen, you roll the
All
D4
right.
though, because that's more fun. 'Cause you're doing the guidance.
20 plus
3.
23.
Nice. 23. Very, very nice. Alright. If we go back to the map here. This is roughly the spot where you guys fought. You were in the Tide chapter at the time and you had to... It was a bit of a jaunt up to the actual scene itself. One thing that sticks out in your memory, though, as this just happened like 3 hours ago now, the destruction that these Tidefins caused was quite large. But there wasn't any destruction on your way up to... Like, you didn't see any signs of commotion, really, until you passed this, like, that street there, or the canal, and then you started to see them above there. You didn't see any destruction leading back anywhere southern from them. And you didn't look super well, but you didn't really see much past them either.
Okay. Wait. No. What about... No, because there was nothing on the south. What about this little alley thing here. What's down that little alleyway? Could somebody have maybe, are there warehouses, storehouses, she would say, not warehouses, storehouses, or something that someone could hide them in? Because they were eating a lot, or at least trying to eat a lot. You would think that we would have seen them, more of their damages as we went towards it, but we did not see anything until we got there.
How
So
deep
maybe they
is
came
the
from this
water?
little tiny channel.
The canal is kind of varied on deepness, but usually, like, you usually can't see the bottom of it quite, but the water is pretty clear. It's quite clean, and you can see the signs, especially, you can see, like, in the more built-in canals themselves, like, some have actual windows in the canal waters itself that lead into, like, a basement of sorts. They're probably 10, maybe 15 feet in some areas. Not super deep. Therian kind of...
I mean, there are different warehouses and places of storage and whatnot down there. It's possible, but that would require that they would need to bring them in and house them, or some way of getting them into the city, which, unless, like, getting past the checkpoints and security would be very difficult. With how many were there? Four large Tidefins that want to eat you while you're doing so? I don't know. Maybe it's worth looking into, though.
What if somebody did not bring in 4 large Tidefin? What if somebody brought in 4 small Tidefin, but maybe using magic were able to make the Tidefins bigger? I don't know. Back at home, we keep many things that we probably should not. We have stormbirds, and we have to raise them, and when they get bigger, well, you all know how stormbirds are when they get bigger. So maybe somebody decided that they wanted to raise some Tidefins for some reason. I don't know, maybe they did not come in as big Tidefins. Maybe they came in as little pocket-sized Tidefins. Much easier to hide from. What are they called again? The Storm Wardens? Not a very friendly name, by the way, for people who are supposed to be protectors.
They ward against the storms. Anyways, that's definitely possible, bringing in smaller creatures. Interesting. Maybe you all will have to look into it.
We should definitely check back in with the Tide chapter. See what they have discovered. See if they want us to look into it more. And maybe while we're in the area, if we want to look into it ourselves.
Sounds good to
Yeah,
me.
that check.
If you want,
But
I can
one
bring
last
you back
thing
there.
before.
One last thing.
Yes, it would be very appreciated if you could take us there. But one last thing
You're-
before
Go ahead.
we leave. What do you know about Euan Satriel?
And, he's quite the merchant, that's for sure. He runs a lot of the Tideboard markets there, and, well, he's one of the council members of the city. I believe he has an estate in the glass glade there.
Kind of motions towards the southeast, kind of up towards this direction here.
And very important. I know I haven't dealt with him much personally. I've dealt with men that work for him, though. From what I can tell, he's
quite the rich snob, but I don't know. Why
Well,
do you
yes,
ask?
I meant what else, but... well... It seems like he's very interested in dealing with the Khazdurim.
Is that so? That is interesting. I can imagine
Right, Asja?
he's looking for any
Yes.
point of coin he can find. I will
What
keep my
do you
ears out,
know
though.
What is like his main source of gold, or what he trades for? What?
Anything and everything.
I see.
He owns most of, well, the property. He owns the harbor's edge, and all of them pay, I'm pretty sure, a decent amount in fees to rent their places from him. I know he also owns several shipping vessels that travel across the Dominion. And yeah, just really anything that he can, they do.
People have to pay gold for a place? That sounds horrible.
Yes, the city is a bit more keen on the metal than your city is. Something I find fascinating about Curtis. They're less interest in wealth as a whole.
We do not use money where we come from. We just all work together and then we trade what we need from each other. That's
I can
what we
imagine
do.
so. Middle of the desert trade woods. Ugh. Traveling the shifting sand sea was difficult enough.
It's not that bad once you get used to it. And Embervale can be quite beautiful when all the trees are on fire. It can be quite beautiful to watch.
What do you even do? What cover do you have?
I will tell you at dinner time when we have our dinner.
Right. Well,
But one last question. How much do you know about, I don't know, myths and legends?
myths and legends.
Yes.
It's not my specialty, but I've seen many years.
Good. Then we will have good food at some point. And I will tell you a good story. With maybe some myths and legends.
I look forward to hearing it. If you all like, yes, I can take you back to the Thai chapter or that area. Your trial run is expired, though. It is going to cost you. I do still need to make a coin, I'm sorry.
What?
That's right. Coins. Euan will pull out one of the small satchels of coin and hand Asja her 10 platinum pieces.
Oh yeah, Ruka will do the same. With
What is
Ugh.
Maldorwen.
this? Is this fake money?
Nope, this is real money. This is from selling the beasties that we fought earlier. I choked on my own tongue.
I have not seen this kind of money before, but okay. And thank you. She puts it away and She's gonna take out a gold piece and hand it to Darian. Is this good?
That will do. Thank you. And slowly starts to row back towards the Tide chapter.
And Maldorwen is not gonna take any gold from Ruka. He's gonna say, you still don't know me, right?
You need to eat. You need to sleep. And last I checked, you don't sleep outside the walls.
I could. I wouldn't mind it.
You are going to need
But-
some money.
How about this? If it's very important, why don't you keep it safe for the both of us?
Okay.
I have no reason not to trust you. So,
Well, I mean, I don't know how long we are going to be traveling together. Our goals align currently, but it will be difficult to split our money later.
don't worry about it.
Oh,
If it
okay.
comes to later we'll see.
Okay, well, let's get to the Tide chapter.
Couple minutes more of the ferry ride, and therein Star Shadow kind of brings the boat up to little dock there, and bids you all adieu.
It was a pleasure meeting you,
And kind of looks to both Euan and Asja.
and seeing you again. Hopefully, we will see each other again sometime within the city. Yeah, let me offer this service. If there's anything within the city, you can pretty much buy anything you need. It's very difficult to find sometimes, though. If you leave a message at I believe, Lenin, Flame and Flagon, of something you're wanting quiet, I can be your middleman there of acquiring it for you if you leave proper coinage.
Thank you. That is very kind of you.
Good luck with whatever ominous, worrisome things you are looking into. I'm going to go talk to some individuals about these Kazdura. I have only been in the city since yesterday, but I don't think that's public knowledge yet. Very interesting.
If you find out anything that you think is important to tell us, tell Lenin to set up a meeting. We will probably be at the Flame and Flagon, right, guys?
Probably.
Yeah.
I am just going to pay for my room for many days. I think best.
Very well. Good luck to you all, and happy adventures.
As he kind of rows out, then follows someone who's calling out, needed a ride, goes and picks them up. Continue his work as a canal driver. As you enter back into the Tide heart of the Tide chapter, the place is yet again still kind of quiet. There's a couple people roaming around, but not a ton. Before the captain kind of eventually comes out and meets you guys again.
welcome back. Were you able to find anything interesting?
No, we just mostly got a tour of the city from the merchant we travel with and dropped off the fin. Did you hear anything about maybe where they came from or what
I
is happening?
Talked to the scout that originally saw them. It's strange. They just kind of appeared in the canal. I don't believe they came from the south anymore.
No, after we look at map, it does because there was no damage this end. There was only damage there. And, well, maybe somebody magicked them in, but you would have to have a lot of magic to get 4 of them that size. But there is also a small water canal, but ends in dead end. And our ferryman said that maybe there are storehouse. Maybe somebody was keeping them there. Maybe somebody know that the storm guard don't really come near here, so they choose somewhere that will cause big problem. But I don't know.
That is interesting. What would their intentions be, though? Like, there are farmers of different creatures in the city, but nothing as dangerous as Tidefin. They are voracious beasts. You all saw that.
And she kind of motions to like the wounds that are still across her body.
It's...
When you say that they, or when they said that they disappeared, I mean, do they literally mean that they appeared out of thin air, or did they come up from below?
They did not get a good enough view on that part. They just know that they did not come from the south. It was just kind of started to ravage chaos there. They didn't notice them until they started to, well, destroy different vessels.
The thing
Maybe
is, with
some
most
investigation in that area could help. I hate to ask more of you all, but is that something you can do? If not, I can maybe find some other people to do it.
Well, I have noticed that in this city, everything is paid in gold. So it seems strange that you haven't offered us any.
That is true. Here, let me... Were you able to get good compensation for the Tidefins?
Yes. We don't need any compensation for that.
That is good there. I mean, usually how the Donwood Sentinels work here is we have different contracts that enlist a certain amount of gold, and you are paid that. That usually comes from the city itself, helps us, as well as different selling of parts and beasts and whatnot that we acquire. But you're right. Sorry, I've just been a lot on my mind. I also like contracts to go gear the Pyroscales and Leviathans are a little more set in stone. You kind of know what to expect, and the dangers they're in, and what we can pay you for. Looking into this issue with the Khazdurim is... I mainly asked you because it's a little more off the books. It is not public knowledge that the Khazdurim are there. They're not literally outside the doors of the city. We kind of refused them, and it's been a secret, more or less, that we've been keeping from the public to not cause worry. Only a handful of people know, including most Storm Wardens. But we're trying to figure out what to do with them first. Contact with Vatari is happening, but Stormboats can only fly so fast.
Well, then I'd say that we are perfect to help you look into that and your Tidefin problem. But sending us back outside of the city, maybe not a good idea. Send other people who are not, I don't know, she looks the captain up in the same uniform, familiar faces. Because maybe we have advantage that our faces are not known, so it will not cause too much questioning when we ask, I don't know, just simple questions like, oh, what's that building? Oh, what's that there? Oh, what's that there? We are strangers to your city, so you ask questions, right? But if I was somebody who lived in your city for a long time and I was asking questions, that might raise... she flips to Elvin. Suspicion.
I think you're right there. What you all helped with will definitely make some noise. You all are quite odd in the best of ways. So, undercover might not work as well as you're thinking, but I do think it will aid you in some sort. If you want, yeah, let me...
And she kind of goes back to the desk and starts counting out a few coins.
At least compensate you a little bit more for the Tidefins. Let's see.
And then hands just kind of a sack of coins out.
I do not need anything more. Someone else wants it.
I will take little. Always need food money.
Very well, yeah.
Kind of gives it to you.
Thank you.
As far as these other
So now
ones...
that I ask for the money, you don't want it, Denter? Okay.
No, we need some for basic needs. And I was very surprised when you were asking about it. Because we already got paid for the fee. Anyway.
It's just the custom here, it seems. But, Captain, perhaps would you be able to set up a meeting with the Kasdurim or the merchants under some pretext?
I don't know if I have the authority to do something like that. At least not officially. If I could talk to my authority... I do not run this place. I am second in command of the Tide chapter. Dagon is the leader, the Tide Master, or the Chapter Master. And he is more involved with the actual politics, and he's a member of the council as well, of the city. I could potentially inquire of him what pretenses would you want this meeting to be?
That is something that I have to consult with the primal conflict. So I need to stare at the sky at night.
Okay.
I need more signs.
I see. Well, let me know as the days go on and you're able to look at the sky. In the meantime, though, yeah, let me draw up a contract.
And she kind of sits down and starts to write up some paper.
If you all are able to find where the Tidefins came from, I think that's one of the most crucial informations we're looking for currently. And if they are linked to the Kasdurim, which is... it is a possibility. I'm hoping not. I'm also hoping so. I don't know what I'm hoping. But if you're able to find where they came from and report exactly how they got into the city and what caused, what or who caused them to arrive, we'll say 100 gold per. And depending on what entails, that might increase, depending on what it all entails. It's hard to discern, because I don't know what it all involves. But it is a very urgent situation. I know the Storm Wardens are probably looking into it as well, but sometimes they take a little bit longer with such things.
I am okay with.
Is this gold you're interested in, Dentes?
It does look like a good job. We can look into it. Unless anyone has any issues with it. Also, if we wanted to look into the Kazdurum, how far away are they from the city?
I don't know the exact details, but roughly, I believe a few hours on a boat ride down, or if you just follow the Gulf down. I believe they've made some sort of settlement, very brief, couple miles down. Probably take roughly a day travel.
Okay. Since I don't know what everyone else is thinking, but since the Tidefins seems to be a little more urgent, I propose we look into that first.
That's my thinking as well. If we can get to the bottom of this, I think we'll find more answers than we think we will.
I'm very curious to see if there's proof confirming or denying that the Kazdurum are involved with it. If it is the case that they are involved, it would be very important to let the council members know, as that should at least persuade them to not let them in.
Then we look for Tidefin.
Hopefully the trail has not gone too cold. She kind of puts that contract aside and goes into another little drawer, pulls out 3 little insignias of the Dawnward Sentinels, which kind of look something like this. Little pins that have that little logo on it. And hands it to the 3 of you that do not have one of these symbols already. Well, with this, and accepting this task, you are officially done with Sentinels. Congratulations. You don't need to wear these when doing this. They might help you, though, if you come in contact with other guards and whatnot. The Storm Wardens. We have a decent relationship with them. We are independent individuals, and they don't love us always stepping on their toes. But if you show those, it will get you further than not.
Asja will take the badge and kind of smile and kind of lift it up onto her shoulder. Rupert, look. Present for you.
Rupert just licks it with the tongue. Kind of tastes it almost. Some curiosity kind of filling his eyes as he's licking his chomps.
You
And then just kind of like
it.
continues to like side-eye it.
Shows you're a very important lizard. Mm-hmm. And she'll just smile and look back at everyone else. Sharing is caring.
Well, I do very much look forward to hearing what you find, and I hope that you do so with some expediency, as this is quite urgent and concerning matters.
Do you think they'll allow the race to go on knowing that the Tidefins came in and attacked?
That's a good question. We'll have to see. I'm not in charge of dictating if the races happen or not.
I
It'd be
find
kind of
that
a bummer if they were delayed.
I find the timing of it all rather suspicious as well.
You think
Just
it
something
might
to
be
make a mental note of.
connected?
Yes, very good
Maybe.
point. But I'm sure it will depend on what we discover or what the guards discover.
They're not set to take place. The stone, however, Gada is not set to take place until the later in the evening on the 30th. So, where's time? We'll have to see.
Well, it is, the trail is probably already getting cold. We should probably head out. Thank you for your time and your help. We should be on our way.
Very well, thank you for doing this. And good luck. As you
And you'll
guys
start heading back to the other area.
start to exit the Tide chapter, are you just heading back to where, like, the crime scene, if you will, you first encountered these Tidefins?
So Rhukkarrak first wants to get some clarity as to how they appeared. So he's going to start just kind of going around asking some of the people in there if they saw the Tidefins appear and where they may have come from.
Okay.
'Cause he wants to know if they literally appeared or if they just came up from below.
Right. The rest of you just following Rhukkarrak as he goes and asks some of the nearby individuals, or you want to do anything else?
Mal, you were gonna say something. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just following Dentist.
Okay. So Dentist, or Rhukkarrak, in the lead here, kind of just goes and talks to a bunch of the different merchants and whatnot, people that are just in this area. Some of them recognize you. Go ahead and just roll an investigation check for me.
The greatest. And it's terrible.
Ooh.
A 4.
Yeah. It's a lot of the conversations that you have are, oh, I don't know where they came from. They just kind of came out all sudden. They moved so quickly in the waters. As soon as I saw them, I just ran for my life. Even think about it now, it's my heart. You then move on to someone else. And yeah, they just kind of appeared in the water right there. I mean, they might have been swimming from one of the other canals. Definitely tore up the place, though. Trying to put some of it back together. And after a good 30-ish minutes of just talking to individuals, it seems like they just... You don't think... Like, no one says they, like, apparated. They didn't, like, just become in existence. They just were first noticed as they, like, breached the waters and started to tear up some of the stuff.
Well, is anyone here good at swimming?
I can.
I can. I am
Um,
not a big fan, but I can.
We should probably check to see if there's a trail of damage under the water.
I will do it so your socks don't get wet.
Thank you, little one. I appreciate that. I'll keep guard to make sure that I don't need to pull you up.
Okay, no problems. And she will go to the edge of the canal, I guess, where there's a way to kind of get in the water, and she will put down her bag and I guess strip down to her underclothing and then take Rupert off. I love you. Give him a kiss and put him on clothes. Oh, I don't like water very much. Hope there are no more Tidefins, she says as she jumps in.
Right, as the... Go ahead.
He was going to say, like, I don't mind water. I've never been in water this deep. I should be okay. Here, let me join you.
I am fine. It's our water collection systems back at home are much deeper than this, and we have to go in to clean sometimes. It's just, it's kind of cold, and I'm used to warmer. That's all. If somebody could have the hot sauce ready when I get back out, that would be great. Now, what am I looking for exactly, though? Like holes, cracks, doors? What am I looking for?
Any damage that they may have caused below the water. Because we know whether it's the damage here. We just need to see if we can find a trail, trace it back, find where they came from.
Okay. Asja will try. And I guess she will stick closer to the walls of the canal, I guess, if she's looking for kind of damage or maybe openings or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she will take a deep breath and submerge down and kind of eyes open and try and not only see, which I'm sure the water is slightly murky and stuff like that, but just try and feel the edge of the wall well, occasionally coming up, refilling on air, going back down.
Yep.
I mean, she can't see underwater, but, she does actually have athletics, so we're okay.
And the water is actually quite, it's not like crystal clear, but it's clearer than you would expect city canals to be. The city seems to be relatively clean, for the most part. But what is your constitution modifier?
+2.
Okay, not bad. So you're able to hold your breath for a decent amount of time as you kind of investigate here. Roll an investigation check for me.
Okay.
And if you are keeping your eyes closed, then I'll say disadvantage.
No, I already stated I'm opening my eyes.
Okay.
Please. Oh no, I am just as bad as
Oh,
Rhukkarrak.
no.
No offense, Rhukkarrak. I have a 6.
No offense again.
Lots of slime, lots of algae, no holes. Oh, what was that? I don't know. It moved. Oh god.
Yeah, you find a couple little silver fish that, not like silver fish, but fish that are silver. that kind of move across and kind of spook you a little bit. But no, like, just abrupt, like, signs of destruction or anything like that as you kind of are in this area.
Sorry.
After about a minute or so of Asja being in the water, the rest of you kind of up there just kind of guiding her a little bit and walking. You do see a pair of 2 storm wardens that are kind of moving up towards and also have like a notebook or a little journal out and taking notes. As one of them kind of looks up into the canal and sees Asja in the water and just looks to the other one and they kind of like murmur back and forth before looking like they're gonna head towards you guys.
Actually, if Rhukkarrak noticed them, he's going to walk over to them. Are you looking into the Tidefin incident?
Well, yes, I am.
Excellent. We are from the Tideborn chapter.
The Sentinels, eh?
Yes.
I see.
We are looking into it ourselves to see if we can help with your investigation and get some answers. Were you able to establish a trail, trace them anywhere back from where they came?
We've just been asking some of the locals here, and seems to just come from the canals themselves. Quite strange. And we're trying to see if we can find any, breach of sorts. But we haven't proven successful quite yet. But Chance, are you guys the ones that actually took care of them?
Yes, we helped to kill them.
Ah, I see. Pleasure to meet you. And holds out a hand.
He'll shake it.
Name's Gronk.
Gronk.
Darn you, DM. I'm trying so hard to not laugh, and you're making it worse.
And the GM TPK is not the party, the players.
Oh, thank the gods my cough is gone, or else I'd be dying right here.
Mine is coming back just from like that accent, man.
I'm the main investigator here of the Storm Wardens. I heard what you all did. Do appreciate it.
Well, that is very kind of you. It is something that, as a sentinel, it is my job. But so you said it came from the
You know, you're not really supposed to be in the water there. That calls over to Asja.
She's trying to find a trail of destruction to see where they came from. Because there's the destruction on the surface is only right here. So we're trying to find destruction under the water to see where they came from.
Right, I see. Well then,
As you will get out of the water, though, no problem. And
you able to find anything there?
lots of fish. Maybe you should get some fish in there that clean the algae, because you have some algae growing. But no, everything seemed to be okay. She'll just kind of shake off as she gets up on the dock. Start putting her clothes back on.
Interesting. Have you all looked into the canal that heads down here? Kind of points to the kind of canal that goes further down and then ends in dead end.
I wanted to look at that one. I wanted to look at that one. They want to look here, but I wanted to look at that one.
No, we have not. That is a good idea.
See, yeah, we confirmed that they did not come from the south or the north. And the only other place that they could have maybe came from was, well, down there. But the thing that's weird, you see, is the dead end. So, not exactly sure what's going on. But rest assured, we'll figure it out.
But, Gronk, your weird houses that are underwater in canal, do people not... maybe strange question. I don't know your architecture, I believe is the right word. You have windows. Do some people have, I don't know, doors underwater?
Well, yes, they do. You see, well, in the hot sun of the Embervale, the water in these canals primarily goes away. And people use that as other entranceways, and these canals become, well, streets.
Huh.
You suggested
is
that they
interesting.
might have came from interior of some place.
Well, if they came from dead end, one would think that maybe they come from somewhere where people were storing them or something. Because, as I say earlier, if you make them just go poof and appear, especially for big ones, that takes a lot of energy, and I think you would be very noticed doing it as well. Lots of big movements and words and stuff like that. It's not like you can just sit there and whoop, have it happen. So
Right.
maybe not magics, but maybe magics. I don't know. I am just talking off top of head. Is that right saying?
I believe so.
Good. I am still learning common, sorry.
You're good. Well, if you wanna, that's quite an interesting theory. I like the way you think. Maybe you have it in you to be a detective as well. I don't know. Anyways, if you guys want to look into that down there, we're gonna make sure that no one else here saw anything that could be of importance. If you see anything, just let me know. We'll be in the area.
And if you find the information, I was not very good at talking to people. That might help us. Please do let us know as well.
Absolutely. I appreciate what you guys did for city here. It's odd having creatures like this in the city. It's a mystery that I need to solve. Right. Well, good luck to you.
One last thing before you go, Gronk.
Just what was that?
What do you think of the Khazdurim?
So you know that too, eh? Another mystery I've got brewing up in my head of mine. I'm not sure. It's very odd of them to just show up out of nowhere. But hey, I mean, Elandor is quite the port to trade with. If I was a couple Khazdurim, had some valuable things to offload and maybe onload, couldn't see it be an impossibility that they just want to do some trade. I also don't know their true intentions, which worries me. You might want to keep that on the wraps, though. What are you saying?
He's gonna reply, so I've heard. And then, can I roll an insight check on him?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yes!
Oh, natural.
Net 20. Total of
Nat 20, we're at
26.
It seems that
okay.
your rolling ability from last time is transferred over to Rhukkarrak.
Oh no, who's gonna have it next game though?
It's probably
Yeah,
me.
Everyone's got a dice curse. It just goes, in a counterclockwise. Okay, so as you kind of have been studying Gronk here, as he's kind of just been conversing with you all and kind of just ascertaining what he's all about, right? He definitely, there is an air of like excitement as he has this newfound case and mysteries afoot, and is very looking forward to solving this mystery. You do pick up hints of concern, especially as you bring up the Khazdurim. That kind of brings a little bit of that more jovial kind of excitement to more of a like, oh yeah, that's a problem too. But then that kind of shifts to like more curiosity and intrigue kind of flashes across his face. But for the most part, he seems to just be a little excited about the prospect of new mysteries to be solved within the city here.
All right, nice.
Maybe at some time, Mr. Grunk, I don't know, when you're not in your uniform, if you want to maybe have tea, we could sit down and go over theories together. Just as friends.
That'd be interesting.
You know,
Theories, you say.
what's in my head and what's in your head and what's in their head, maybe all together would be a good thing, because maybe something in my head is not in your head.
He kind of nudges the other Stormlord next to him and kind of whispers something under his breath. Go ahead and just roll a perception check for me to see if you can hear. Nope, you don't.
No.
hear.
She's munching on
already
snacks
shifting.
again. I know. I'm next. Yikes.
We'll say I'll give this because Maldorwen with your natural 20 on insight. We'll say that you're able to pick it up though. He kind of says, "I think she's asking me on a date." Yeah, sure. We could sit down sometime. All right. Just let me know. And then they kind of walk off.
See, maybe he has some information in his book that we can get from him that would help us out too. Very strange fellow, though.
I'm sure he has an excellent theme song.
I am resisting the urge to ask how he is.
All right.
So,
You're welcome.
So as you all kind of make your way towards that canal that ends in a dead end, you kind of arrive at the end therein, and just let's have a group investigation check now, as you all are kind of contributing to this. If any of you want to do anything in particular to add to this, let me know. Other than just looking around.
Sure. Let's do guidance on mine, if that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. If you would like to describe how you guide yourself in this moment.
Yeah. So, even though there's no wind, like, he's actually kind of gonna concentrate on the fact that there is no wind and the stillness and, like, the quietness of what I assume is this alley, and just try to, let the omens guide him, let the signs around. Perhaps, like, the quietness is a key. I don't know. Something like that.
Okay. You go ahead and roll a d4 with your investigation, and then the rest of you just roll normally, unless there's something else you would like to do as well.
Well, Rhukkarrak, knowing that he has exceptionally good dark vision, is going to pay particular attention to the darker areas of the alleyway, and then if Asja is going to, he's going to jump in the water and also help look down there if they can't find anything of particular interest.
Yeah.
On the
Asja as well, with her good vision in the dark, was already planning on focusing underwater. So.
Okay.
Yeah, well, he'll help Aaron there.
Euan is too busy trying to think that he had something that he was supposed to do and can't remember it with his 10.
Nice.
Oh, thank goodness. 18.
Okay.
17.
So
Okay,
we'll say yours was 14. What was yours total, Maldorwen?
Oh, my total was 21, actually.
21. Okay.
It was 17
Oh,
plus 4
nice.
from the guidance. So, yeah.
Nice. Okay, so really good. Other than Euan, who's thinking about what was I supposed to do again? I don't remember. Oh yeah, this. No.
Something about shoes.
That's right. You still have this. That's funny. Okay. After about a couple minutes of searching down here, both Rhukkarrak and Asja, you kind of pick up on a little bit more shadows that are clinging to one of the part of the bottom of the canal. That's just a little darker than you might think it should be. And then Maldor, when you kind of come over and kind of see what they're looking at, and kind of just really kind of feel that stillness and let the conflict guide you, if you will, as you kind of just stare at it. And you feel just kind of ominous feeling from it. And so you all kind of approach. Those of you that are in the water are able to kind of swim up to it and get a better view. And what you see is there's actually a large chunk of the canal that is, like the base of the canal that is broken and descends deeper into the earth. It's completely still waterlogged. Like the water is just still there, and as you kind of look down further in, it just descends into some sort of like tunnel that and it's rough in shape. It's not like carved at all, which is also something that distinctifies. That's not the word, but you know the meaning from the rest of the canal, as it almost looks like part of it has crumbled away into this larger space. And as you continue to investigate further here, that is where we're going to pick up next week.
Ooh,
Dun, dun, dun.
snappers.
Dum dum dum.
Oh, so
Well, looks like I'm gonna get wet socks after all.
If it's just the socks, then take your socks off. There you go. Very easy.
Take the socks off.